good rainy Monday morning. Although we did have, I thought the weekend turned out to be pretty good after
it was
all.
decent. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, beggars can't be choosers from our situation. It still did rain this weekend.
Did? Yeah.
But you're
Yeah.
right, it wasn't bad. I don't think it rained
Yeah,
much
it was like
after
an
11
overnight.
o'clock Saturday morning.
Yeah, then
And,
it turned nice, and it was
Rained
nice.
a little bit last night.
Saturday and Sunday. It was pretty good. Okay, I do want to tell you a little traffic alert here this morning. If you are driving on the arterial, so what are some of the cross streets as you come down?
Okay, there's Oswego.
There's Oswego. There's
I need to look him up.
so basically from when you pass that, if you're on northbound, when you pass the exit to get off at the Utica exit, which would be Burstone Road. As you from that exit down to about till you get to Court Street, there was a garbage truck this morning that I just so happened to be following.
Oh, nice.
And the garbage truck stuff was coming out the back end of the garbage truck.
Oh,
like
okay.
a ton of debris.
Great.
Big chunks of garbage and wood and 5-gallon pails just falling all over the street. Cars are hitting it. And,
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was quite an event this morning. So I will tell you that it's got to still be there. There's got to be a ton of garbage still in the street. That would be the northbound lane of the arterial. Beware as you're driving along there. And, you know, everybody goes very slowly through that part of the arterial.
Yeah, right.
So be ready for some of
Court
that.
is one.
So
Oswego
I
is
would
one.
say you start at the Burstone Road exit northbound, Burstone Road exit to about Court, and who knows, maybe further, because I finally passed the garbage truck, and you could see the back end. It looked like construction debris. The back end, the door had come open, and the stuff was just falling out all over the place. So...
yeah, good luck with that. What a mess.
we were driving on the thruway. I didn't want to call 911 because I think you have to limit yourself to so many calls of 911 per week, and I've made a few.
Oh, about what?
Well, we were driving out to Albany on the thruway, and you know how every overpass bridge,
Yeah.
so as you go under it on the thruway, they now have fencing up. It goes up about 8 feet feet tall, and sometimes it angles in to prevent somebody from
throwing stuff,
and killing people.
Yeah.
Anyway, there, as we're going along, it was just a straight fence up. This would have been right around as you get to about Amsterdam. And there was some really tall, lanky kid who was on the fence, and from his chest up, he was over top. So he had his elbows over top of the fence. And I'm like, what is this? What is this kid doing? Now, he may just be like, I want a special view. I need a good view.
I don't think that's what it was.
I don't think that's what it was. I'm like, he's getting up there so he can throw something down. Although my wife
harm himself.
Or my wife went to the, he may be looking to hurt himself and jump. I'm like, if you jump, it's going to be ugly. Yeah. I wouldn't jump. Don't jump, I yelled as we went by.
It's worse than construction debris.
That would be worse than construction. So we thought it was the right thing to do to call 911. And so we did. And I didn't realize 911, Herkimer County 911 handles that area almost out to Amsterdam. It was Herkimer County that handled it.
Did you know the person who answered?
No, but it said Herkimer County 911.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it identified it like that.
It does. Yeah. Well, that one anyway did. Let's see. What else do I have here on this Monday, June 9th? It is Father's Day week.
Yeah.
Although we were surprised over the weekend by a visit from out of nowhere from my daughter, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
We did not expect that. I don't know if you're following along. The president has sent National Guard in. It's the first time since the 60s. Newsom is claiming that the president is trying to create a worse situation. And Trump said, "Why? Do you think I had a bad week? Why would I want anybody to look somewhere else? He had a bad week." Others have said it would be nice if Trump was as tough on Putin as he is on some of the Democratic governors in the United States. However, one will say that there will be no tolerating. There's not going to be any taking over of city buildings under this administration. And although Newsom said they had it under control, California does not have a good track record.
I completely agree, Bill.
There's a lot there. There's a lot there.
For California to say, I find it ironic. Gavin Newsom's like, we got it. When you look at the last disaster in California, aside from the homeless situation, it was the wildfires, and the firefighters literally went to put out fires, and there was no water in the hydrants.
Yeah,
so when they say
California's had a bad year,
we've got it under control, I also question that very much. But it's ugly out there. They took over the 101, I think I heard. One of the freeways they took over. They're setting vehicles on fire. I did say, to be fair, I thought Mayor Karen Bass, I thought her statement, I listened to it. It was extensive. It was several minutes, at least the clip that I heard. I thought her speech or comments showed a lot of leadership. She was like, we're not going to tolerate violence and destruction of buildings.
Any breaking of the law,
Correct.
Any of that, or not, you cannot. This theory that you can just let these people take over buildings is not a good theory. You might want to not do that anymore. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But Trump has come in, even though he was not requested by Governor Newsom. It'll be interesting to see where all of this goes today, with reporters on the ground, National Guard there, and the protesting continuing. This, of course, protesting all over ICE and some of their rounding up of people, and I believe they've set a number, a quota that they want to hit every single day, and I think it's like 3,000 illegal immigrants to be taken in per day, which is a pretty big number. We have a lot to talk to with a lot of people. Holy cow. What a time for me to take off when Rome became the center of our little universe, where there was an altercation between some sort of altercation. We really still don't know, right? Do we?
No. I don't know anyway.
Well, I'll tell you.
I don't know if we know, but I know I don't.
We, out of fairness, I'll tell you a funny Jim Brown story. Jim Brown, when he was, I guess he was no longer the mayor of Rome, and there was a Republican function that I was working at, and I was working at the time for, I'm not sure if it was Tenney or for Griffo at the time, but we were miking people up and then grabbing footage, and we mic'd up Mayor Jim Brown. Now, I think he probably had a few, and which is really what the statement from the mayor's office has said. I mean, literally coming out and saying, it's a shame Mayor Brown is drunk. That's basically the statement that came from the mayor's office.
Is drunk
it's
or
unfortunate.
is a drunk?
Well, I'm not sure if the word "a" was in there or not, but you might have been able to consume that way if you like. Nonetheless, during this event, this Republican event, it was. I'll read the statement for you, but there's more. I'm telling you, there's more to this. Anyway, this event with Jim Brown, he's mic'd up, so we're walking away. Oops, we have a battery issue. I'll be right back, Mayor. And as I walked away, Mayor Brown began talking to somebody else, and I forgot who it was, but he's like, I'm going to tell you something. That Keeler is the biggest a-hole I've ever met in my life. And he proceeds to go on and say some vile, like really bad stuff.
About
you.
Yeah,
and it's stuff that wasn't even close to true. And all I was doing was interviewing it. I'm like, okay. Mark that. That's 1704 on the footage. We're going to save that piece. You never know when you might need that. And that probably was 15 years ago. So Brown has been on here a few times, but he has become very aligned with certain members of the of political parties. And I thought he was a supporter of Mayor Lanigan, but apparently is not. So there was an altercation at the Tucalana Club, and He is claiming that the current mayor assaulted him. The current mayor is saying, listen, how he injured himself, I don't know, but I helped him into his designated driver car. Mm-hmm. And are you looking at the statement from
yes.
I mean, do you think I'm right? I mean, literally, basically saying, yeah, the former mayor was drunk and inebriated to the point where he may have injured himself, but the current mayor of Rome, did not injure him. Now, Mayor Lanigan is on the radio this morning. We're going to speak to him about 7:25 and get his take on all of this. I will tell you that the entire incident has been moved to a special prosecutor that is looking at the case to determine whether or not charges should be filed. That will be held in Herkimer County, and I assume we will hear more later today or as this week goes on. Davey.
And just to be fair, I did reach out to ex-mayor Jim Brown.
We did reach out to Brown,
his side of the story, and he said, quote, I'm all done doing interviews.
Yeah. Well, he's done a lot of talking. So we'll see where all of that ends up going. But Mayor Lanigan in Rome will be on the radio this morning with his side of the story. I'm very much interested in that. President Trump calling on California Governor Newsom overnight.
He body slammed me into the car. I'm continuing to read stuff here
you're
from
catching
both
up.
sides.
You're catching up. Governor,
there's no video of this?
The word is there is video and is being examined by the DA's office in Herkimer County. If there is video. California Governor Newsom and LA Mayor are calling out President Trump, or President Trump is calling them out, sending in the National Guard, and protesting continued overnight. As we come into this morning, what do we know? Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio to fill us in. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So this is unprecedented, and it is in the news, and this is an active story, I would say, as it continues here into the morning.
Yeah, just to say the least. President Trump over the weekend said that he is going to send in the National Guard, despite the fact that you have the California governor and the LA mayor saying, no, don't send in the National Guard. They've got two very different perspectives on what's going on right now. California thinks that these, for the most part, these protests have remained peaceful, but there has been some acts of violence, some arrests that have been happening, and certainly there's been some escalation. And President Trump believes that this is a riot. He believes in some cases that it's close to an insurrection. He hasn't really said, I don't think he's explicitly said this is an insurrection, but they're teasing this, and they say that the military might need to come in and deal with it.
Yeah.
So President Trump has activated California's National Guard despite protests from the local officials there, which it's not rare for the National Guard to come in and deal with a situation like this. But usually when that's done, it's done with cooperation from the mayor and cooperation from the president. But in this case, the California governor has not activated the National Guard. Instead, the president's going over his head and doing it himself.
Yeah, it is the first time since 1964 during the Civil Rights Movement that the National Guard has been brought in federally without the request of the state's governor. So it is a big deal. Newsom saying, the president, this is kind of like a wag the tail, wag the dog, whatever that phrase is. The president has had a pretty active week and a pretty tough week. That this is something that he's doing to create a situation that steals the news, the news cycle. Your thoughts on that? Certainly, President Trump is denying that.
It's hard to tell. I mean, President Trump is capable of stealing the news cycle just by
a tweet,
putting something out in Truth Social. So
right.
He's going to steal the news cycle no matter what he does at this point. So that's hard to really know.
Yeah. Nonetheless, this is active. It is continuing, and boy, you can expect some incredible visuals coming later today, I'm assuming.
You will stay, yeah. I mean, it depends if these protests either die down, become more aggressive. We don't know what they're going to do today. I mean, tomorrow's a new day. We're back to Monday. What's interesting is, I was talking to some people yesterday who have friends and family in California, and they're like, well, they haven't even noticed the protests or noticed the riots or anything like that. And it's just like, well, that's how California is. I mean, it takes like 5 hours to get to one side to the other because traffic's so bad.
Right.
But we're in the areas where this is going on. It's pretty intense. So that's why you're seeing what you're seeing.
Meanwhile, it is interesting, I thought, to watch, we've lost Ryan there, watching Elon Musk, who's taken down some of his anti-Trump posts, including the one about Epstein, as this battle between Trump and Elon Musk continues. If there's one who has blinked, it seems like it is Musk at this point. And it'll be interesting to see where all of that goes. My guess is what's happening in L.A. is going to steal most of that news cycle. And like in this administration, it's a new hour, new news cycle. You just never know, and it's tough to keep track. All right, hold tight. We have an update on news here, 6:36 at WIBX.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 2 corrections officers linked to the beating death of mid-state correctional inmate Messiah Nantwi appeared in court on Friday. Craig Klemick, who faces several charges including manslaughter and gang assault, turned down a plea deal that would have sentenced him to 7 years in prison. He will next be in court on August 8th for oral arguments, and he faces now a maximum of 25 years in prison if convicted. A second corrections officer, Caleb Blair, who also faces many charges including murder, manslaughter, and gang assault, asked for more time to consider his plea offer, of which its details were not disclosed. He is also set to return to court on August 8th. Bags of Nature's Promise veggie chips are under recall from Hannaford supermarkets. Customers are told the chips may contain a declared wheat allergen. The impacted bags include the multi-pack 6-count with a lot code of September 22nd, 2025, and the 1-ounce bag of veggie chips with the lot code of the same date. Customers who purchase these bags are being told not to eat these chips and to instead return them along with the purchase receipt to a store for a full refund. Those who may have these products can contact Hannaford at 1-800-213-9040 for more information. New York lawmakers could vote Monday to pass a bill that would legalize assisted suicide across the state. Natalie Migliori reports.
It's called the Medical Aid in Dying Act, a controversial piece of legislation that would allow a doctor to prescribe life-ending drugs to people with 6 months or less to live. Members of the Catholic Church and disability rights advocates oppose the bill, arguing it does not have enough safeguards in place to prevent abuse. However, State Senator Jessica Scarsella-Spanton says it's about choice and allowing those who are terminally ill to choose a peaceful and dignified passing. I'm Natalie Migliori, NBC News Radio.
And Syracuse University has picked the new leader of its women's lacrosse program. Reggie Thorpe will be the team's 4th ever head coach, and he's replacing Kayla Triner, who departed to take the head coach position at Penn State. Thorpe is a former All-American defenseman who helped lead the SU's men's squad to a national title in '93. He calls this new role his dream job and says it's time to get to work to ensure the continued success of Syracuse women's lacrosse. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Trying to clean out the atmosphere. Air quality alerts from yesterday have gone by the wayside as the wet weather is helping, but who knows, they may be back. There's another push of Canadian wildfire smoke. May get here mid or late week. Got to deal with some scattered showers this morning, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm, low 70s. A few showers, thunderstorms tonight, and a few showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, 77. I'm Ray Stejek from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently, it is raining, some drizzly conditions. Drizzle falling out there, garbage from garbage trucks along the arterial. Be careful because there is debris in the streets. Rob this morning saying Trump is not going to allow 2020 BLM riots to happen again in big blue cities without law enforcement action. He is not going to allow it. Again, Rob, I would say I did like that tough talk because I don't think we need to go down that road all over again where they're taking down city streets and taking over buildings. But I wish he'd have the same tough talk with Putin. But he doesn't. Every time he talks to Putin, it's like another wonderful conversation. And he seems to be a little harder on Zelensky than he is Putin. So I'm just saying, I'd like to see this tough talker when it comes to international affairs. Just my opinion, for what it's worth. I know you probably disagree with me, Rob. What else? California is a mess. That is Rick. Collie, I got that. Oh, here's Wayne. I think this whole Trump-Elon thing is BS. Done all to get his stock back up and get people back on his side. A game played by politics after finding out they try to destroy his company. I completely disagree. I think it's a real fight between the two of them.
I agree.
So, and it's a real spat. And it does seem that if there's anyone blinking, it's Musk right now, who's taken down some of the posts that he had put up. But no, I think it's a real. You're seeing it. It's playing out in real time.
Elon Musk came out and accused the president of being in
Epstein's.
Correct.
Yeah. Which he's backed away from.
He's now backed away from that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not a stunt to get your stock price up.
No. And I think that this has gone.
Serious
I think this
there.
has gone so far that the two of them they may publicly make up, but the two of them will never be pals again.
Right.
And they were pretty darn close. But you knew when reporters started saying, or opponents started saying, or maybe both, that the real president was President Elon Musk, co-president Musk. That was getting under the skin of Trump. And I also thought some of those White House press conferences with Musk in there and the kid climbing all over the president's desk, and those were something to be seen. But that's all over. That's over. That ain't happening again.
That was one of his 19 kids?
I believe
14 women or something like that.
Yeah, I think they named them by number. That was number 14.
So, and then one more thing. What is the mandate, the EV mandate that they talk about that got Musk kind of upset?
Well, I think there was the president saying where you mandate people to buy electric vehicles.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that necessarily that is what that reads, but I believe there are a lot of tax incentives to buy. Okay. The president saying that's what Musk is upset about. Musk claims what others have claimed is that this is actually adding to the deficit, not reducing the deficit. But again, it's easy to say I'm going to cut the deficit. Who are you going to cut? And that's are you going to cut military? Probably not a good idea. Are you going to cut Medicare, Medicaid? Those are very, very touchy issues. And some of this will require work for certain people, and some of the cuts, though, could very well affect elderly people. So it's a very tricky situation, I think.
So,
Davey, phone's ringing. Mike says, when I was younger, I was driving up the Northway, and a keg of nails broke loose from a truck and poured all over the Northway. Fortunately, I was in the other lane, but the amount of cars with flat tires was staggering. And that's kind of like what was happening this morning. Beware. If I were you, I would avoid the arterial this morning, northbound. With all of that garbage, there has to be some nails and stuff like that in the roadway, because this garbage truck was just letting garbage out. It was really pretty dangerous. Let me break and we'll come back. Manaski's in this morning, our guest host here this morning. There's a ton to talk about. And yes, this Rome issue is a big one. Rome Mayor Jeff Lanigan will be in studio this morning at about 7:25 this morning on WIBX.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking.
I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVE for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVE.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Now through June 30th, get up to $120 off 4 new Bridgestone or Firestone tires instantly at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair Centers. Whether you're in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, or Herkimer, their team of professionals are ready to serve you. Schedule your appointment today online at tallmanstire.com. Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Get the best tires for your vehicle at unbeatable prices guaranteed. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See store for details.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
A lot going on over the weekend in Canastota and Verona. The National Boxing Hall of Fame induction ceremonies and celebration. And yes, they had the big parade on Sunday. And yes, Sydney Sweeney. The amazingly beautiful Sydney Sweeney was the grand marshal of the parade, and Davey was there.
Unfortunately, executive producer was not in person because I was spent from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
So you didn't get there to see her?
No.
Oh, my.
I laid low on Sunday.
Wow.
Because I was there all day Thursday. Friday, I was there until torrential downpours. I left about 2.
Yeah.
Then I went to the boxing Friday night at the Turning Stone.
That was at the Turning Stone, and that was
really good. And ringside seats,
jam packed. It was really pretty incredible.
And then Saturday, I woke up early, and Jim Rondinelli and I went out and spent there until about 3:00 on Saturday.
And then by Sunday, you were done.
With Saturday,
Sydney.
I was down.
Yeah,
I really wanted to see Sydney, but
yeah. Well, a lot of people came out yesterday.
Well,
yeah.
they
good weather too.
It's amazing they got her, right? I mean, she's a big deal.
She is going to be doing. She's
doing a movie about Christy Martin, portraying Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter's Christy Martin. She's from hails from West Virginia. It's basically going to tell her story about the movie because Christy Martin did a talk on Thursday, a one-on-one, a ring like a lecture for like 35, 40 minutes. She took questions from James Smith Smitty, not relation to me.
Oh, really? Not really.
So he was the moderator, and he took questions from the guests, the crowd, and they talked about the movie.
Yeah, and she's playing
Christy Martin,
the star role, Christy Martin in the movie. So
was Christy Martin some kind of a beauty model?
No, she was a boxer.
She's a boxer.
No, I know, but they've got like you say the most gorgeous woman in Hollywood right now playing that role.
I think she's one of the most beautiful females in Hollywood right now. Yeah. So that was a great grab for the boxing.
Yeah,
Hall
it
of
is.
Fame.
Okay, kudos to them.
Yeah, that was big. But I think she wants to really be thought of as a serious actress in this role. So let's see where it all goes. Going to be interesting. So, Davey, you enjoyed it all. My guess is you ended up getting a lot of autographs.
Yes, I did, and I got a lot of pictures taken. They're on my Facebook
You know,
page.
I was told it might be Mayweather, somebody, and maybe you know who this is, but he travels around the country and he'll go to casinos, and he has 2 bodyguards.
It's Manny Pacquiao.
It is
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao.
Well,
he brought his own entourage.
Well, I don't think so.
And I think you are correct about Floyd Money
I think it's Mayweather, right? So he carries a duffel bag, and inside the duffel bag is $1 million in cash.
Yeah, that's
and
Floyd Money.
And he was in the high stakes room on Friday playing Thursday night and Friday, playing with his bodyguard right there in that duffel, holding the duffel bag. $1 million in cash. So he was playing with his duffel bag at the Turning Stone Thursday and Friday. And it could have happened over the weekend as well, but somebody who was there and saw it told me, oh, yeah, there he was. And inside that duffel bag was loads of cash.
You know, the knock on Floyd, there's a couple of them, but some people say that basically he gets, let's say, $50, $100, $400 million for a fight and sponsorships and all this stuff. And then at his age, that's why he kept fighting, is because he spends it all.
Yeah,
and then he
maybe gambled some of it.
He has zeros, all zeros in his bank account, and that's why he fights again. And he's at the age where he can't be fighting anymore.
I think that happens a lot in boxing. I do. I think it happens a lot. And
walk around. I mean, that's one night in upstate New York. If he's walking around with $1 million duffel bag and looking to spend it or gamble it, obviously he wants to win.
So he was in the room where it's a minimum.
But what's a night in Vegas like, or Southern California?
Right, absolutely right. He's in a room, and when I say high stakes, it wasn't that much high stake.
It was the $20 table, right?
It was the, which is about all you can find, 25. But it was the $100 minimum. So you must bet $100, at least $100 on that table, and there's nobody can butt in. So there's no mid-shoe entry. So you're playing. If you want to play with a couple people or by yourself, you are very well protected. I was there, I don't know, 5 years ago maybe. I was there one time with a friend, and we were in that room playing. And there was a guy, and he was Russian. And I tend to be very friendly and inquisitive. So I will be like, hey, how you doing? Where are you from? And the pit boss came over and said, Bill, no. I'm like, okay. So apparently there's no talking to the Russian. And that's how it ended. It just ended like that, uneventful. I didn't keep going.
Was it someone
I just
of
have a
note?
little question. I have no idea who he was, but he did not want to be talked to.
Gotcha.
And they knew it, and
now you do.
Now I knew. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. Okay, that was this weekend, and there's so much to get into. Also this morning, and I don't want to hide a bit of a lead, with everything going on with the big, beautiful bill, what's happening in Washington, and now what's happening in Los Angeles, the Elon Musk stuff and all of this. Congressman John Mannion will be on and in studio this morning at about 8:15.
No kidding.
You're in for a busy morning. Michael Mott is songwriter, composer, and actually has had some of his stuff played on Broadway and is really knocking it. He's from New Hartford, and he knocks it out of the park in New York City. He's doing really well musically. He has a new song that comes out today here on June 9th, and we'll have him in studio later on as well. So there's a lot to get to. Davey, you had a great weekend with boxing. That's really cool. Let's talk a little bit, if we can, about the New York Yankees. You know, I'm going to tell you, I love it when, I'll never forget, I had a longtime girlfriend in high school, and her father was very nice, a very nice guy. And I remember saying, we're going to win this game. I mean, on paper, we're like 10 times better. There's no way we can lose. And I remember him saying, well, I got to tell you, on any given day, any team can beat another team. Whether you're talking about local sports or all the way
baseball,
up especially in baseball. And the Red Sox, who should have been handled easily by the Yankees this weekend, not so much, Davey. We want to comment? Listen, at the end of the day, they're all Major League Baseball players, except for the Rockies. Except for the Rockies. You know they've only won 12 games
all year?
All season long.
Oh, Lord, I
didn't
know that.
The Rockies have won 12
You have to be
games.
kidding me.
And they got their first sweep last week of the Florida Marlins.
They swept the Marlins, and then were
since last year.
Swept by the Yankees. Actually, the entire...
Swept by the Mets.
Swept by the Mets, the entire series for the season series. The Mets swept the Rockies, and so did the Phillies. So the Mets have a 4-game lead on the Phillies. Only 12 wins, Jeff.
Oh my goodness!
It's unbelievable. They're on record right now, on pace right now, to actually end up being the ultimate, going back to the start of baseball, like Doubleday start of baseball, going back to the 1800s as being the absolute worst team in baseball.
I was just
now Chicago White Sox kind of took that role last year.
Yeah.
But they weren't so bad as to break some of those records from the 1800s. The Rockies are on the road to do that.
I was going to say, even bad teams, for instance, in Major League Baseball, will still win 50, 60, 70 games.
Yeah.
They might only win like 30 games.
They are at 12 wins right now.
53 losses. Oh,
and remember, that comes after sweeping the Marlins. So
how do you feel if you're the Marlins right now?
Yeah, I know. But again, on any given day, right? Except for this weekend for the Yankees with the Red Sox, the Mets sweeping the Rockies. Juan Soto starting to come alive, showing some of his swagger and hitting the ball out of the park. But along with him, everybody else seems to be coming alive for the Mets. They're pretty red hot. The Mets will play the Yankees at Citi Field for 3 games on 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, yes. But the Red Sox have the Yankees again this weekend coming up. Unfortunately, the only bright spot from the weekend series against the Red Sox, Mr. A, Mr. Captain, Mr. Judge hit his league-leading 23.
Yeah, he had 2 home runs yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what's going on in the world, and we have a bunch of it to get to. This morning's free money question of the day is going to be worth from Hobica. Will be worth how much money?
$150.
$150.
Coming up this morning, Rome Mayor Jeff Lanigan, he's joining us soon. Congressman John Mannion.
All of that.
If you're on Route 12,
be careful of the
garbage all over the road.
Be careful. All right, news is coming up here.
It's Amerique Credit Union's 75th anniversary, and our new checking account rate is worth celebrating. For a limited time, open an Amerique High Rate checking and earn an unprecedented rate on your first $10,000. Get started at amerique.org/high-rate.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
Have you always wanted a bed you can pick the number on each side, make it as soft or as firm as you want? Check out the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort at Mattress Express. 5 years, no interest.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Downtown Los Angeles declared an unlawful assembly area. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After 3 days of anti-immigration raid protests, President Trump has Marines on standby after sending in 2,000 National Guard troops.
I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order.
But California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom says the president is acting like a dictator, militarizing the situation and causing chaos.
We have seen protesters, most of whom were wearing masks to hide their faces, clash with police, throwing just about anything from cinder blocks to hammers at law enforcement in response to ICE arrests throughout the city. It all started Friday night when agents captured what they are calling the worst of the worst. Some of the migrants arrested have been convicted of crimes ranging from assault to drug offenses. One arrest includes a gang member convicted of murder.
Fox's Todd Pyro. In Las Vegas, police are searching for the gunman who opened fire near the Bellagio Hotel fountains late last night, killing 2 people. A plane taking off on a skydiving trip crashed in Tullahoma, Tennessee. All 20 people on board survived, but some were injured. President Trump's new travel ban, affecting people from 19 countries, has gone into effect today.
Travel from 12 of those, including Afghanistan, Iran, Libya, and Somalia, is restricted outright and deemed very high risk for a variety of reasons, according to the White House, which cites either terrorist activity, weak or hostile governments, and high visa overstay rates. 7 other countries, such as Venezuela, Cuba, and Laos, face partial restrictions.
Fox's CB Cotton. A new round of U.S.-China trade talks happening today in London, days after President Trump's phone call with the Chinese leader, after the president accused China of violating terms of an agreement that had lowered massive tariffs on imports. America's listening to Fox News.
U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Jesse Clark's military service came to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he is paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss, and in a wheelchair. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
He's coming. Here he goes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless. What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
While the protests rage in Los Angeles against immigration raids, a judge in Massachusetts faces a hearing today accused of obstructing a migrant's arrest during the first Trump presidency.
The Massachusetts Commission on Judicial Conduct set the formal charges hearing for today in Judge Shelley Joseph's case, which dates back to President Trump's first term in office. Joseph is accused of willful judicial misconduct for allowing an illegal immigrant to slip out of the Newton District Court in 2018 to avoid ICE agents. She was later indicted by federal prosecutors on obstruction charges, which were dropped in 2022, and the case was sent to the Commission on Judicial Conduct. Joseph's case is similar to that of Wisconsin Judge Hannah Dugan, who faces felony counts of obstruction and concealing a person from arrest. Dugan has pleaded not guilty, and her trial is set for next month. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures aren't moving much, up slightly before this week's trading. It's all tied up in the NBA Finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder take Game 2, beating the Indiana Pacers 123-107 on ABC. League MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the way, scoring 34 points as the Thunder bounced back from blowing Game 1.
We've done a really good job of that all year, and last game was no different. Tonight is the same thing. We did some things good tonight, we did some things bad, and we got to be able to get better. Get ready for Game 3.
That'll be Wednesday night at tennis's French Open.
At 5 hours and 29 minutes, it was the longest French Open final ever. World number 1 Jannik Sinner won the first 2 sets and even had match point 3 times. But world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz fought them all off and then rallied to force a winner-take-all 5th set, which he won in a tiebreak to complete the comeback, giving him his 2nd straight French Open title, and at 22 years old, making him the 3rd youngest man ever to win 5 majors.
Today was all about to believe in myself.
Greg Thompson, Fox News.
Denny Hamlin won the NASCAR Cup race at Michigan International Speedway. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 60 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is coming up next. 2 corrections officers linked to the beating death of mid-state correctional inmate Messiah Nantwi appeared in court on Friday. Craig Klemick, who faces several charges including manslaughter and gang assault, turned down a plea deal that would have sentenced him to 7 years in prison. He will next be in court on August 8th for oral arguments and now faces a maximum of 25 years in prison if convicted. A second corrections officer, Caleb Blair, who faces many charges as well, including murder, manslaughter, and gang assault, asked for more time to consider his plea offer, of which its details were not disclosed. He is set to return to court on August 8th. A Utica woman was arrested on a felony grand larceny charge. According to New Hartford police, officers were called to Sangertown Mall on Saturday afternoon to investigate an active theft. Loss Prevention said it was monitoring a group of suspicious individuals, and when police arrived, a member of the group attempted to flee a store with a grocery cart full of merchandise. The woman, identified as 29-year-old Nicole Slattery, was arrested following a brief foot pursuit and was charged with 4th-degree grand larceny. She was released on an appearance ticket and is due back in town court on June 26th. Bowflex is recalling millions of its adjustable dumbbells because their weight plates can dislodge and cause user injuries. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission said the recall follows over 100 reports of injuries, including concussions, abrasions, and broken toes. A notice from the CPSC says more than 3 million units of the product are being recalled. Bowflex filed for bankruptcy protection in March 2024 and was acquired by Johnson Health Tech, which is refunding customers for the dumbbells in the form of a voucher or a replacement. And Wendy's is bringing its beloved bacon to select grocery stores. The fast food chain's restaurant-inspired bacon was first spotted at a Kroger supermarket in Kentucky, and it's available at select Kroger and King Soopers locations. It comes after Wendy's recently began selling its fresh, never-frozen beef hamburger patties at grocery stores as well. The integration into supermarkets is not unique to the Wendy's franchise, as competitors like Arby's and White Castle also offer retail versions of some of their more popular restaurant products. Your WIBX News Time is 7:07. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Trying to clean out the atmosphere. Air quality alerts from yesterday have gone by the wayside as the wet weather is helping, but who knows, they may be back. There's another push of Canadian wildfire smoke. May get here mid or late week. Got to deal with some scattered showers this morning, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm, low 70s. A few showers, thunderstorms tonight, and a few showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, 77. I'm Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
60 degrees right now under cloudy skies. Let's take a look at sports. Brought to you by the IBEW 43 local sports desk. Sovereignty is the winner of the 157th Belmont Stakes at Saratoga Racecourse in New York. The horse was ridden by jockey Junior Alvarado, and they also claimed victory at the Kentucky Derby earlier this year. Preakness Stakes winner Journalism took second, while Baeza took third. Syracuse University picked a new leader of its women's lacrosse program. Reggie Thorpe will be the team's 4th ever head coach. He's replacing Kyla Triner, who departed to take the head coach position at Penn State. Thorpe is a former All-American defenseman who helped lead the SU men's squad to a national title in '93. He calls this new role his dream job and says it's time to get to work to ensure the continued success of Syracuse women's lacrosse. The Stanley Cup final is tied as the series shifts to the Sunshine State. The defending Cup champion Panthers are coming off a double overtime victory to even the series at 1 game apiece. Florida looking to defend its home ice while it hosts the Oilers for Game 3 tonight. Connor McDavid is leading all players with 5 points through the first 2 games. The NBA Finals, there's now even. The Thunder blew out the Pacers 123-107 in Game 2 from Oklahoma City. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led all scorers with 34 points, while Alex Caruso sunk 20 off the bench. Tyrese Halliburton led Indy with 17 points as the best-of-7 series shifts to Indianapolis for Game 3 on Wednesday. The Mets, they swept the Rockies after cruising to a 13-5 victory in the series finale from Denver. Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil each slugged a pair of home runs. New York leads the NL East after winning 3 straight. They host the Nationals for a 3-game series beginning tomorrow night. The Yankees dropped back-to-back games after falling to the Red Sox 11-7 in their series finale. Aaron Judge belted a couple of homers and now has 23 this season. New York, though, still leads the AL East. They visit the Kansas City Royals for a 3-game set beginning tomorrow night. Giants rookie quarterback Jackson Dart is getting adjusted to the NFL. Dart recently admitted that having edge rusher Brian Burns chase him around the practice field has made him realize the speed of the next level. The G-Men selected Dart with the 25th pick overall in the 2025 NFL Draft, and they continue OTAs this week. The NFL offseason continues to roll on. The Jets are ready to start mandatory minicamp. They will take their physicals today, the players, before the first of 3 practices, which begin tomorrow. The middle practice is limited to a walkthrough. The Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen, he signed a brand new endorsement deal. The reigning NFL MVP, he's teaming up with Mars Incorporated for a limited edition of the popular Snickers candy and ice cream bars. Snickers will also offer a contest that'll include prizes such as a trip to Super Bowl 60 in California. The limited edition bars are set to show up at stores nationwide throughout the month. Ryan Fox is celebrating another victory after winning the RBC Canadian Open at TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley. Fox took down Sam Burns in a 4-hole playoff after both finished atop the leaderboard at 18 under par. This is the second win of the year for Fox after he won the Myrtle Beach Classic in a playoff. Kevin Yu finished third at 17 under. The French Open has come to a close. Second-seeded Carlos Alcaraz won his second straight French Open title with a 5-set victory over top-seeded Jannik Sinner in the final. Alcaraz notched his 5th career Grand Slam title in the longest French Open men's open era that lasted 5 hours and 29 minutes. In the women's action, second-seeded Coco Gauff won the title with a 3-set victory over top-seeded Aryna Sabalenka on Saturday. The 21-year-old, she's now the first American to win the French Open since Serena Williams in 2015. This win is the second Grand Slam singles title for Gauff, who won the 2023 U.S. Open. She also won last year's French Open women's doubles with Katerina Sinakova. And Denny Hamlin is in the winner's circle for the 3rd time this season. The driver of the number 11 car secured a victory in the Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Speedway. Chris Buescher, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, and Kyle Larson rounded out the top 5 finishers. The NASCAR Cup Series heads south of the border for the Viva Mexico 250 next Sunday from Mexico City. Your WIBX news time is 7:12, 60 degrees under cloudy skies. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, we'll do a free money question this morning from the Hobeika Law Firm, and it is worth $150. We'll get to that coming up. Stand by in a second. Dan Snell, who's our through Fox News, great expert on politics and leadership and all of that. He's going to get into President Trump's border policies, which have definitely cut border crossings significantly. We'll talk with Dan Snell coming right up at WIBX.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
It's AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary, and our high-rate checking account has an unprecedented rate worth celebrating. Get started at ameriq.org/high-rate.
Hey, it's Polly from Big Frog 104 with the perfect solution for your manufactured or mobile home problems. John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. If you've had issues with your furnace, now is the time to think about replacing it. Don't wait until next winter. Your skirting around the home could have taken a little beating. John has skirting too. With energy costs continuing to rise and no relief in sight, you need to make sure your mobile or manufactured home is energy efficient. John has new doors and windows in stock as well. Find it all at John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories.com.
Now through June 30th, get up to $120 off 4 new Bridgestone or Firestone tires instantly at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair Centers. Whether you're in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, or Herkimer, their team of professionals are ready to serve you. Schedule your appointment today online at tallmanstire.com. Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Get the best tires for your vehicle at unbeatable prices guaranteed. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread. and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
The 2025 Boilermaker is about to sell out, and WIBX with Fit Body Bootcamp of Clinton and Whitesboro is giving you the chance to get in the action. Score an official running bib to the 2025 Boilermaker Road Race by entering on the WIBX station app. Get your entry in by June 22nd, and you could be running in one of America's most famous races on July 13th. So run, don't walk to register now to win one of the exclusive Boilermaker running bibs thanks to WIBX and Fit Body Bootcamp of Clinton and Whitesboro.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
So the Marlins come off being swept, right, by the Colorado Rockies.
Was that last weekend?
Last week. No,
last
it was
week,
the series before they played the Mets. And then there was a really funny thing that occurred as, what was it, running to first base? What happened?
No, so the Marlins, they might have been playing the Cubs. I don't even know who they were playing, but the starting pitcher, Ryan Weathers, was throwing warm-up pitches in the bottom of the first inning, threw his final warm-up pitch, and kind of, slid sideways off the mound. He didn't slide. How do I want to say this? He threw his pitch and then, kind of looked to the outfield. He wasn't paying attention because usually the catcher throws it down to second.
Right.
Well, in his effort to throw it down to second, he hit Weathers, the starting pitcher, right in the head. Put him right on the ground. I keep laughing at Weathers' reaction after he's helped up and they kind of examine him, and he's like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
It's kind of like the a little Bad News Bears.
I can't. It's so funny. It's just.
And can you imagine as the Marlins losing to not only the worst team in baseball, but the worst team in baseball, maybe in terms of history, to the Colorado Rockies. Listen, it's time to shift gears, shift seasons, and shift into savings. GPO Federal Credit Union is rolling out an auto loan sale. Now, through the end of the month, rates are as low as 4.99% APR for up to 5 years on 2021 to 2025 models. So you can hit the road this spring in the car you want. Thinking about refinancing? They have you covered as well with rates on 2017 to 2020 models as low as 5.49% APR. Apply today at gpofcu.com. Or you can stop into your local branch, but hurry. This deal ends at the end of the month. GPO Federal Credit Union, your journey, their commitment, membership eligibility required, credit restrictions apply, rates based on credit history. Existing GPO loans cannot be refinanced or combined with any other discounts or incentive offers. Promo rate available through the end of the month. Rate subject to change at SUA insured. See the branch for full details. And there you go. All right. We're mentioning here this morning everything going on in L.A. And, of course, President Trump's border policies have cut illegal crossings by a staggering 95%. It's really quite incredible. Dan Snell is an expert on politics and leadership and is a huge fan of leadership styles of both Ronald Reagan and JFK. Dan Snell, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Great to be with you and your Utica listeners. Always happy to be with you.
So I would say even the obviously some of these policies have become controversial. Look at what's going on in L.A. But in terms of the border, the message is clear. We're going to catch you and return you to where you came from. You will be detained. There is no path to freedom here whatsoever. And that message has been heard loud and clear to the point where the boardings, illegal border crossings, have been cut by 95%. That's really incredible.
Yeah. President Trump and his administration has done a remarkable job. I mean, it's the lowest in, I believe, over 25 years. And certainly he is battling today something that has historic perspective that should have been addressed not only by presidents but by Congress in some kind of immigration policy. So he's got new monies in this bill that are reasonable and valid. And of course, every day we have a new exciting news. L.A., Elon Musk, Ukraine. There's always something going on.
It's really it's shocking, right? When you think about everything that is currently happening. Yeah,
President Trump, he's facing a lot of things that he quite frankly inherited, and he likes to pick on President Biden, but it historically it goes farther back when it comes to the overspending in Washington and how we've not been good stewards of the money, and the border, of course, the same way. And so he's got himself where he is the master at working the media, whether it's through his Truth Social or just comments that he makes, because there's so many things going on. Right now, Ukraine last night, almost 500 missiles or drones attacked in Ukraine, but we're focused on L.A. So there's a lot of things that people, he's a master at keeping things in the forefront that he wants to keep in the forefront.
Well, it is interesting. I mean, there's no doubt last week was a bad week. The Elon Musk stuff was really rough to watch for an administration that's claiming to have everything under control. And here's these two that were partners in cutting the deficit, now completely at odds when it comes to whether or not the deficit is being cut, with some really bad things being said publicly, to the point where I had to go to Musk's actual Twitter account, X account, to make sure that thing about Epstein was real. I thought it was fake.
Yeah, you're right. And so many people just believe everything that they see or hear on social media, and things get spun up. And I do the same thing. I try to get 4 or 5 confirmations.
Yes, go to the source.
It's I grew up in a small town in Nebraska. They use that term Nebraska nice, and you're there in New York, although Utica is a little more peaceful than New York City. But Donald Trump is, he's a New York brawler. And he's not going to back down from anyone. And Elon Musk, obviously the richest man in the world, he doesn't think he has to. And so it is sad for the country. I wrote the book, The Winsome Way, a Winsome Candidate, and I talk about how to be a little more winsome in communications and how you look at the world and how you lead and serve. And sometimes it gets a little woesome in Washington with some of the comments.
It certainly does. This is something to watch here. So where does all of this go forward? I mean, obviously, what has stopped the crossings at the border significantly, astoundingly, the policy is spreading over into some of these cities where L.A., for instance, is a mess, and who knows what's going to happen there today. I think there's a fine line between this being a real positive for the president and potentially an issue that will play a role in the midterms coming up.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Bill. I think that he probably has to temper the words that he uses when he addresses things like L.A. or bringing in the National Guard. And, instead of talking it as a invasion and that we're at war, he should try to call for peace and calm. And absolutely, law enforcement, people should not attack law enforcement or buildings or burn cars. And so I think he has absolutely a right. And I think it's a good thing to support law enforcement locally with the addition of that. But I think the words that Donald Trump sometimes uses has always gotten him in trouble. And this weekend it got him, and this last week, as you said, got him in trouble. Yeah. And so I think he needs to temper that and be a more calm leadership style.
Okay, let's see where all of this goes. It's going to buckle up. Buckle up. It's going to be an interesting week, Dan.
Yeah. And just remember, there's only one big, beautiful Bill, and that's you, Bill.
That's
You're
right.
the
Thank
big,
you
beautiful
for that.
Bill.
Appreciate it.
Stay winsome, my friend.
Let me tell you, my wife says it to me often. Okay.
She's got it.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right.
Or stay winsome.
Okay.
Just like Elon Musk, by the way, your wife says this bill has too much pork in it. So.
Yeah, believe me, that would be something she would say. But she would be nowhere in the world where she'd be complimenting me in terms of the big, beautiful bill. I do find it interesting that Trump comes up with these titles for things that are just ridiculous when you think about it. Yet everyone, that's how it's the name of it.
That's
so
the name
it
of it.
is what you. It's like almost like I feel stupid, especially in the beginning when Lady Gaga would end up in the news. Like, don't you feel stupid saying Lady Gaga?
Yes.
Like, what a dumb name. And now every time we have to talk about her, you got to say Lady Gaga. And but here we are with the big beautiful bill, and it is every newscast. Whatever news, it's the big beautiful bill, and that's what it is. That alone, I think, has to have Trump sitting there in the White House in the middle of the night saying, I manipulated them completely to the point where even my haters, even those who hate me, have to call my bill big and beautiful, because that's the name of it. Pretty brilliant when you think about it, I guess.
Didn't the Democrats, though, have the Inflation Reduction Act, and it was proven that increased inflation by like 4% or something like that?
I think you may be right. Yeah. Let's see. From a Julie. Oh, yeah. I know. I understand. Yep. I'm with you. Believe me. Sorry, I can't say any more than that. My apologies.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, but I can tell you this, and it's bad news. Apparently there has been a mix-up, and Jeff Lanigan has a commitment this morning and will not be appearing on the program. Davey, I'm told there was an email late Friday that said they had to cancel, and you're saying you didn't get it, and I didn't get it either. But I'm not saying it wasn't sent, because it was. I spoke to Kim Rogers this morning, just a few minutes ago, and they're going to reschedule. But the interview this morning with Jeff Flanagan. And why is this significant? This is now in the hands of the Herkimer County District Attorney as a special prosecutor. So
okay, wait. So we're not getting Jeff Flanagan today?
We are not. I know that's going to disappoint you.
When did we? When was we? When was
wait a minute,
booked?
Davey. Congressman John Mannion has just reached out. He can't. No, wait a minute. No, he is not. He is.
Smitty's upset in there. When was he booked?
This was. I was in Buffalo, and for my annual exam.
Okay.
Which was a big one. Everything went really well. There's a few little
things
that are in my head. I had a
Friday?
big, beautiful exam. Some say it might be the greatest exam ever. Anyway, other than coming back and they're saying, well, we're going to keep an eye on you. We think you're anemic. And the other thing that is the biggie, although I was sick for about 3 weeks leading up to going to this appointment, the other thing with this is, and my wife keeps saying you're making a big deal out of it, but it's in my head, right? It goes into your head. So each time I have gone, the leukemia number in my blood, which was when I first went, and I caught it early, was like 53%. So that's a high number when you think. That means half of your blood is tainted with cancer cells. Anyway, each time I went, it went lower and lower and lower to the point now where my appointment in March, it went to 0.1%.
Oh, my gosh.
That's awesome.
Great. That's great.
So expecting to go there this time for it to go to 0.0, which is where they want it.
Okay.
And it actually ticked up a little bit. So that is don't worry about it. We're nothing to worry about. We're going to wait until September, and we're going to do it again. We just want to make sure the medicine that you're on, your body's not learning to fight off the medicine. So that's because what they would do is just put me on another medicine, which I do not want to do, because you learn how to deal with. It took me a while to learn how to deal with this medicine. So anyway, other than that, it was a big, beautiful appointment that was bigger and more beautiful than anything in the world. Everything else was wonderful. Numbers were good. They even said I might have grown a little bit and added a little hair. I don't know. I don't know if you can see it.
The doctors told Bill they've never seen anything like this before.
We have never seen
That's
anything
another
like
Trump
it.
favorite of mine.
Anyway, so while I'm in Buffalo, we're going back and forth between me, Davey, and Kim Rogers in scheduling the mayor. And
so I got the text from you at a little after 10 o'clock on Thursday when I was going to Boxing
So
Hall
at
of Fame.
some point on Friday night,
I didn't get nothing.
I know. But anyway, it's being rescheduled. Why is this significant? Well, there's a lot going on here because the mayor's story versus the former mayor's story on what happened at the Tugalana Club the other night are those you've read them. The statements. The former mayor's accusations and the current mayor's claim of what actually happened are two very different stories. So, from what I understand, this was presented to the district attorney's office in Oneida County, which said conflict.
Yeah.
And therefore, we want to push it out. Very much like the case of the corrections officers, which is being held
Fitzpatrick in Syracuse, right?
In Onondaga County. So this has been moved to Herkimer County and is currently. So what does that mean? I believe video footage is being examined to determine should there be a charge in this case.
So there's video. That's important.
I'm told there is video. How much that video shows is where we are.
Well, so one
version. The video tells everything.
Current Mayor Lanigan says he went up and put his arm on former Mayor Brown's shoulder. Former Mayor Brown says Lanigan came up and body slammed him against the vehicle.
Yes.
Now, I don't have any confirmation if there was also a Lanigan leg lock applied, or if it was some type of a submission
couple lines
move.
ringing, Davey, here. They're going.
But if it's just one word against his word, I think that makes it difficult for a prosecutor, and I don't know how many witnesses or potential witnesses there were. But video would tend to spell out what happened.
I will tell you,
see it right
this
there.
is anecdotal, but if I were the judge and jury, I will tell you, I have spoken to people who were there.
Okay.
And I know this is going to shock you.
Okay.
But I spoke to one person who described it exactly the way Jim Brown described it.
The current mayor body slammed him against the vehicle.
I spoke to another person who said that is a complete lie. The mayor helped the former mayor into his car, and the former mayor was inebriated. So I have talked to somebody. Yeah. I have talked to someone from both. You have conflicting stories. So that is what the DA is up against. And doesn't it make you say, boy, I hope there's video?
Yes, I really hope there's video.
Because I'm telling you, a Tayuga Club is where it happened.
Tayuga, not
Tugalana. Sorry about that, Joe. Anyway, so there you have it, and I'm saying these weren't just people that said I heard. These are people who said I saw it, and this happened. And then somebody else, I was there, this happened. So which is it?
Just such a difference between a body slam, presumably onto the hood of a vehicle, versus I helped him in his car. And if he did help him in his car, what do you mean he helped him in his car?
There are some videos that
put the seatbelt on him too.
There are some video. You know how they and again there are other accusations that are being made. Also, hear Mayor Lanigan saying, "Listen, we were friends. It's a big shame this has turned into what it has turned into because me and Jim Brown were friends, and I'm pretty sure Jim Brown supported Lanigan for mayor in the race against Jackie Izzo." But there are some videos, I don't know if you can find them out there, but I've seen some doozies where, you know how sometimes people will drunk dial?
Yeah.
So that is, you've had a few cocktails and you're just feeling frisky and you decide you're going to make a phone call. And the next morning you wake up and you're like, oh, my God, I cannot believe I made that phone call. I have seen a few videos that seem to me like something similar to that out of the former mayor, Jim Brown, where they all of a sudden say, you know what? I'm going Facebook Live. I got some things to say.
Oh, boy.
And I could just see it in any scenario. It would be like, if it was me, my wife would be like, I don't think you should go live on Facebook tonight. Why don't you wait till tomorrow morning? No. I know exactly what I want to say. And there have been a few of those moments. And apparently there was a moment on the radio where Jim Brown made some disparaging comments about Mayor Lanigan. And so that's what this allegedly was all about. So I was extremely looking forward to having Jeff in studio here this morning, Mayor Lanigan, to discuss. But it is there are two different versions of this story that are out there, and those versions are not only coming from those involved. There are two different versions I'm hearing from people who say they were eyewitness. Now, is it possible they weren't an eyewitness? They heard? That's also possible. Sometimes people really want you to believe what they're saying, and will sometimes go overboard to make you believe,
Look, if there's a video, or if
the video would probably tell exactly what happened.
Can you call? So if you have it, can you call Smitty 736-0186? We got to see this video. We'll watch it live on the air here and give you our honest take.
If there is a cell phone
post
video,
it online as well. Cell phone videos also would be great.
We got a break. Hold tight. An update on news, and we'll do Habaika's free money question of the day, which is worth $150. $150 on the line this morning, coming up.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440. And they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com. Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by Adirondack Home Furniture. Utica police investigated an accident involving a pedestrian. Authorities say they found an unconscious man laying in the roadway at the intersection of James Street and Howard Avenue around 10:20 p.m. on Thursday. The man was immediately taken to Wynn Hospital, where he was last listed in critical but stable condition due to his injuries. Police say they located the car that hit the man around the 1600 block of Miller Street. The driver has not been identified. Authorities are investigating the crash and will announce charges and updates when available. Central New York drivers are saving just a little bit of money when it comes time to fill their vehicles. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel right now in the Utica-Rome area is $3.20. That's down 2 cents from a month ago. You can get some savings if you fuel up in Herkimer or Madison County, where gas is averaging around $3.10 a gallon. Still, the best prices in Central New York continues to be Onondaga County, which is averaging around $3.02 a gallon. The state average for fuel is sitting at $3.10, and nationally, it's $3.12. Rome police are reminding residents they are cracking down on speeders. Authorities say slow down or pay up. However, they noted those who speed not only risk a fine, they could lose their life. Police say that nearly a third in all fatal crashes in the state last year were caused by speeding. Those crashes killed 329 people and seriously injured another 2,361 individuals. Rome police say crashes caused by speed typically spike in the summer and that a majority of speed-related crashes occur between noontime and 6 p.m. And 3 people are under arrest accused of vandalizing and setting fire to a historic Westchester County lighthouse last weekend. County officials say the Terrytown Lighthouse in Sleepy Hollow sustained at least $100,000 worth of damage, including broken windows, smashed antiques, destroyed furniture and antique books, and fire damage. An 18-year-old from White Plains and a 19-year-old from Harrison have been arraigned on charges of arson, burglary, and criminal mischief. A 17-year-old was charged as a juvenile while police continue to look for another suspect. The lighthouse, which is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, recently underwent a more than $3 million restoration. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Trying to clean out the atmosphere. Air quality alerts from yesterday have gone by the wayside as the wet weather is helping, but who knows, they may be back. There's another push of Canadian wildfire smoke. May get here mid or late week. Got to deal with some scattered showers this morning, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm, low 70s. A few showers, thunderstorms tonight, and a few showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, 77. I'm Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Well, we have clouds and drizzle currently, and 60 degrees is where we are currently. All right, time for Hoboka's free money question of the day. Davey, this morning, it's worth $150, and you're looking for caller number what this morning?
Caller number 5.
Fifth caller right now. Let's see if somebody can start the week off with a win. 315-736-0186. Caller 5, your chance to win from Hoboka and WIBX is right now.
With Mattress Express's guaranteed lowest price, bring in any locally advertised price on a mattress we carry, and we will beat the price. Within 90 days of purchase, see it advertised for less, bring it to our attention, we'll refund the difference. Mattress Express.
In life, we're often faced with difficult decisions. When it comes to caring for our loved one, the choice can be overwhelming. But amidst the uncertainties, there is one decision that stands out as an act of profound love and gratitude: choosing hospice care. Hospice care isn't just about medical support. It's about honoring the journey of those who've given their all to their families. It's about providing comfort, dignity, and peace in their final days, surrounded by loved ones. Choosing hospice is a way to give back to someone who has selflessly given their life to others. At Hospice and Palliative Care, we understand the weight of this choice. Our compassionate team is here to guide you through every step of the journey, providing personalized care that respects the individuality and dignity of your loved one. When it's time to say goodbye, choose hospice care. Choose love. Choose Hospice and Palliative Care, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison counties. Visit our website, hospicecareinc.org, or call 315-735-6484.
When you need us most.
Now through June 30th, get up to $120 off 4 new Bridgestone or Firestone tires instantly at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair Centers. Whether you're in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, or Herkimer, their team of professionals are ready to serve you. Schedule your appointment today online at tallmanstire.com. Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Get the best tires for your vehicle at unbeatable prices guaranteed. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See store for details.
Flag Day is June 14th, and the Frigo Agency and NYCM Insurance are celebrating with a flag exchange. Show your patriotism by flying a beautiful new American flag. Bring in your old, worn-out American flag to the Frigo Agency, 136 Clinton Road, Route 12B in New Hartford on Thursday, June 12th and Friday, June 13th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and exchange it for a brand new one. They'll handle the proper, respectful disposal of the worn flags. Don't have a flag? Just stop in. They'll give you one. While supplies last, one per household, please.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually in fact true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, good morning. It is Monday, June 9th, and time for Hobeika's free money question of the day. Joseph and Andrew Hobeika at 315-724-1600 is the number. And for any of your legal needs, just give them a call. Rick is in Utica, ready to take a shot here at $150 this morning. Hello, Rick. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Bill. I wanted to sneak in a question for Davey, but he switched me over too quick.
Oh, okay.
Ask him.
Okay.
I heard that Rome is getting their own boxing Hall of Fame. Is that true?
Davey, is Rome getting its own boxing Hall of Fame? Is that true?
No rumor.
I think
Mayor Brown and Mayor Lanigan, they're going to be the initial inductees.
I knew that's where it was going. I was going to say the first inductees will be current and former mayors of the city of Rome.
Well, that would be
Thank you, Jeff. The other two guys are sleeping over there.
That would. That's because I don't think it's called the Boxing Hall of Fame. It would be the I helped him gently into the car Hall of Fame. Is what it would be called. So. Yeah. All right. Good stuff there, Rick. You're all over it. It's nice to see Rome getting a little of the limelight instead of always Utica, right?
Yeah, the limelight. That's what that is.
The limelight, yeah. Okay, are you ready, Rick? Your chance at $150. You'll have 7 seconds to answer this wonderful question. And are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, here is your question. If you have to guess, but you may nail this one right off the bat. Here we go. The name of this fish is also the name of a toll road. What's the fish? Ready, go.
A pike. You asked that question before.
I know I did. I know I did. I was struggling trying to find a question, and I said, you watch. Rick will completely know this. And not only will he know this, but he'll know that I asked this question about a month and a half ago. The answer is pike, as in turnpike. Yes, congratulations.
Nice job.
That is worth money. There's been a bit of a drought, and you win $150. Congratulations.
No, I'm into the animal kingdom. I got flamingos, and now I got pike.
You got pike. So apparently every time you're on with this question, I ask you an animal question. So that works out. Well, listen, congratulations. You get $150. Plus, we'll give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card. Good at Aquavino or Babes, Taylor and the Cook at the Odd, the Nexus Center, and the list goes on. Stand by, Rick, and Davey's going to hook you up, all right?
Thank you, buddy.
All right,
just
so
before we went on the air, Bill said, this is a repeat question I might got here.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Meanwhile, wait, I'm already hearing from Hobeika. You piece of garbage. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Yeah, well,
I think Hobeika wants to help you to your vehicle is what he wants to do.
Very well. That's right. I'm just going to help you in. All right. It's Miziazik? Mishashik. All right. Come up really
right
tight.
on that. Yeah, you got to get right on that.
Sorry. I should have said Mishashik with a question mark. You be the judge. And you got to be nice and really, really tight on that microphone. Judge Mike Mishashik is tell us, you're a judge in the city of Oneida.
In the city of Oneida, yeah. I had to move out there. I grew up in New York Mills, but I had to go out there because none of the girls in New York Mills would have anything to do with me. And so I had to go that far to find a wife.
That far. And it worked.
But it worked, yeah.
It worked.
She knew everybody, so now I'm judge. It's great. You know?
So talk about, you're all, in addition to being a judge, and which I would imagine is a really interesting job.
It is. You get to see what you looked like when you were 25 and young and dumb and maybe had a few drinks, etc. Yeah.
Think about the times. I'm thinking about my times that I've sat in a courtroom and few things I like to take back, right?
Oh, yeah.
Happens like 25 years later. So I'm sure you see it all. But in addition, you're also an author.
Well, I'm trying to be. I've completed my first book.
Okay.
And I'll come back when my second book is published, which is in November. It's called The Group W Bench. And it's a list of short stories from my experience as judge. I've been doing it for a little over 20 years now.
I think that's going to be very interesting.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My sister's my editor, and she says, "Oh, give me more."
Give me more, yeah.
Yeah, but I've written...
how many times did you start off by saying you can't, or maybe end by saying you can't make this stuff up?
Exactly. I can't tell you how many times people tell me, well, I was thinking, and I explain, well, don't hurt yourself. Just relax here,
Yeah.
But... let me get into the book that I am publishing right now.
So this book is called The Anastasia Project.
Correct. Yep.
Which is a bit of a hypothetical.
Yes.
Okay, explain.
This I started this 7 years ago just to entertain my mother, who fortunately is still with me at 89. She's doing very well. I saw her last night. But I started putting this story together for her, and it came out pretty good. It did entertain her. I was successful with what I was trying to do.
Well, that's important. Yeah.
And so now I thought, well, that worked out. Let's see if there's any value to this. Let's share it with everybody else.
Take it further, yeah.
This is an alternate history, little sci-fi twist to it. A lot of people are not aware, especially younger people, but in the very early 1900s in Russia, there was a revolution.
Yeah.
They had a king before that. The youngest daughter of the king was Anastasia, and she, along with the whole family, was murdered by the Bolsheviks and who eventually became the communists.
Or was she?
Or was she, which is exactly the point of the book. There's a persistent rumor that she did survive.
Yeah.
And there are enough reasons that it's plausible that she could survive, and the history is just amazing. All the people that got pushed across Siberia into China, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I have a Putin-esque character find her bones, because that's part of it. Her bones were lost. He finds her bones, and they're friendly with the North Koreans. The North Koreans don't pay attention to international protocols, and they clone her and then present her to the world as the legitimate heir to the Russian throne.
Wow.
Now, another thing people don't realize is that in 1918, when Tsar Nicholas was murdered, he was the richest man in the world, and basically like a rock star on the world stage. He's related to all the European royalty.
Right. That's the other part that I think we forget about is they were all, everybody was related. This one was
and they interbred. His son, his only son, had blood disorder, hemophilia, as a result of that.
Okay.
But he was worth, in today's dollars, what Musk is worth.
Okay.
Over $300 million.
Wow.
So the story goes about...
Which was $26 back then, by the way.
Yeah,
probably. The conversion.
I don't know. His stock
might have been 27.
His wealth dropped a little bit last week.
Just
a little. Yeah.
So all of that is in the book. Anastasia does not know she's a clone. The world doesn't know she's a clone. Everybody suspects it. She finds out. When she does, she has an existential, that seems to be a favorite word these days, an existential personal crisis. Am I human? What does this mean?
Right.
So most of the second half of the book, that's what this is about. And keep in mind, she's a Paris Hilton type character. Everybody wants her at their parties. Everybody wants her wearing their clothes, their jewelry, etc. So,
wow.
And they're pretty people.
An influencer.
The Romanovs were attractive people. So.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So, and that is the story. So you take, you actually...
This should be a movie.
Oh, yes.
In today's day and age. Are you shopping this as a movie?
I've been trying to hook up with... what's his name? He's got a place up on the North Shore of Oneida Lake there.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
You know who this is?
Yeah, well,
who's the actor at Sylvan
Adrian
Beach?
Brody.
Adrian Brody.
Adrian. Yeah, I'm trying to get him to look at it, but he's all gated off up there.
Well, you know what you need is for him to get in trouble.
Oh, there you go.
And then he's standing there before you, and you say, all right, listen, I'm going to let you off easy.
Yeah.
You're going to have to make my movie.
All you have to do is make the movie, and I want a bit part in it.
That's right.
There you go.
I'm going to be in it, and
I'm going to be the bus driver or whatever.
I love it. All right, so where can people find the book?
Well, I brought some show and tell because it was radio.
Okay,
so
that's perfect.
What this is a postcard size picture of the cover art.
Okay, cool.
Which was done by Danny Mills. He's a tattoo artist at Oneida that everybody out that way who wants tattoos seems
They know
to be
him.
real
Yeah.
excited about.
Nice.
And on the back is the website.
Okay.
That you can go to buy the book. It will be available on Amazon eventually.
Okay.
She looks like Hillary Clinton a little bit here in this photo.
Oh, don't
On a
say
side.
that. She's
no,
the
no.
girl that posed for this is a friend of mine. Don't say that. to
Yeah,
her.
I think she's much prettier. That's what I would
Those
say.
green eyes are beautiful.
So
This girl, that's Tatiana Otrashenko.
Okay.
She's married to a friend of mine.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
on the
she would
back
be,
of it is the SarsBookstores.com. It's a website.
Okay. All right. So that's how you can get the book, and then we'll talk to you in the fall when the next book comes out, your book number 2.
definitely.
And I think that one's going to be also very, very interesting. So
yeah.
And I got 3 more after that are already. They need to be polished up, but we're working on it.
Okay. All right. Well, that is awesome.
Mike Mastashik? No. How do you say that?
Mishashik.
Mishashik.
You're
I was
Polish.
close.
You should
I
be
was
able to do
close.
this. You're from New York Mills, for God's
I
sakes.
know. Well, I live there now.
What's your name?
Manaski.
Manaski.
Yes.
Mashashik, Manaski.
Yeah. Probably related.
They're probably related.
It might be a sexual relation. He has sex with his wife, and I have sex with my wife, and they're related.
And they're related. That is possible. You have many books in you.
Yeah. Well,
this ain't stopping here.
This is my retirement project. I mean, you got another minute or two?
Yes.
here?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I presented to my accountant the following proposal. I said, well, listen, when I get these books all done,
Come closer to that
Yeah,
mic.
nice
so
and
we
close.
don't lose you.
we'll print 1,000 copies of each one. I'll buy a 40-foot go slow live aboard boat, and we'll put all the books on the boat.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the Great Loop, which you can start anywhere, but everybody knows where Chicago is. You go down the Mississippi, around the, and back up to Chicago.
Yeah.
And we'll stop at every bookstore along the way and do signings and, give away books and
I
stuff
like
like
it.
that. And she says, why would you do that? And I said, because it'll be fun. And then I can write off the boat, the
That's
fuel.
right. You write everything off.
Write everything off.
Yeah. You must think that way.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
It's a difficult life otherwise.
Difficult. Otherwise, it's a very expensive and difficult life.
Yes.
Okay, Judge, we appreciate it. And the book is The Anastasia Project. To purchase, go to ZAR, C-Z-A-R, as in Paul Buckley being the film czar, zarsbookstores.com.
Correct.
And
It's
soon to be
plural,
on Amazon.
Bookstores, yes.
Bookstores.com. So, all right, really cool. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Very good.
And I hope I never am sitting in your court for the wrong reason.
Well, I must retire on December 31st. New York practices age discrimination with judges. So, you're not going to see me unless you get in trouble in a hurry.
All right, well, that means we got to get Adrian Brody in trouble soon.
Oh, yeah, let's work on
We got to
that.
make
That would be a
happen.
good idea.
So, all right, great stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations on book number 1. I can't wait to see you back here in the fall.
I'm really disappointed Habaika's not here. I was going to give him a hard time.
Well, listen, he's angry. We just gave away $150. He's not happy. So
His money?
it's his money.
money, yeah.
There you go. Good.
He ain't happy. All right, Judge. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, and they're accepting new patients right now. If you're in need of a new family doctor, or you want a second opinion, or you want to do what I do. I love getting there. I call it an adjustment, but it isn't. It's an osteopathic treatment, really is what it is, and it allows you to make sure everything is flowing. Once a month. I do it once a month. In this case, for me, with Dr. Zielinski, I think I see Dr. Shamileski next. But when you walk out of there, everything in your body, from your sinuses to everything is flowing and moving the way it's supposed to. And you'd be surprised at how good that makes you feel. And just call today and schedule an appointment. And need a second opinion? Call today. Need a new family doctor? 315-507-4751. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. All right, coming up next hour in studio, he is in town, Congressman John Mannion. We'll get with the congressman coming right up. and speak with him. Also, Michael Mott is from New Hartford. He's a songwriter, does an incredible job. He is coming up as well.
Are you at the point where you are just feeling stuck with your health and fitness journey and you don't know where or how to begin? Hey everyone, it's Lisa from Fit Body Bootcamp, and I can help you focus on a solution instead of the problem. At Fit Body Bootcamp in Whitesboro and Clinton, we will help you by providing fat-burning 30-minute workouts and an effective nutrition program. Your time is now. Come join us where we inspire fitness and change lives. And remember, you're just one phone call away from living your best life.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 100 years.
Things really escalated in Los Angeles. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, on the third day of immigration raid protests. And some of them in masks clashed with law enforcement.
When the protesters came out in their thousands here in downtown LA, and things really became chaotic and extremely violent. At one point, the protesters took over parts of the 101 freeway, which goes right through the heart of downtown. They were setting on fire some of those Waymo vehicles. Those are the self-driving robo-taxis that are a common sight on the streets of Los Angeles these days.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in downtown LA, which is now declared an unlawful assembly area with National Guard troops
guarding the Metropolitan Detention Center, where protesters believe some of those caught up in the raids over the last few days are still being held.
President Trump deployed that National Guard and has Marines on standby.
We got to see what we need. We'll send whatever we need to make sure this law and order.
But LA's Mayor Karen Bass and California Governor Gavin Newsom, both Democrats, don't want the National Guard troops, claiming the president made things worse. Newsom says he's acting like a dictator. President Trump's new travel ban takes effect today for 12 countries. It's a total restriction, including Afghanistan, Iran, and Yemen, on concern they don't properly vet those who'd come here. 7 other countries have partial restrictions, including Venezuela and Cuba. Drama outside of Gaza. Climate activist Greta Thunberg claims she was kidnapped by Israel when the boat she was on, carrying food and aid to Palestinians in Gaza, which Israel's blockaded, was intercepted.
Israel's foreign ministry says the activists are making their way safely to Israel, where they'll be shown a video of the attack by Hamas on October 7th, 2023. It's branded the venture a selfie yacht carrying less than 1 truckload of aid.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. A new round of U.S.-China trade talks about to get underway now in London. America's listening to Fox News.
U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Jesse Clark's military service came to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he is paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss, and in a wheelchair. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
He's coming. Here he goes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless. What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Well, the Senate keeps considering the big, beautiful budget bill, as President Trump calls it, with increased border security and military funding and an extension for the 2017 tax cuts. Some Republicans keep demanding more spending cuts be included. And speaking of cuts, the House wants to implement some of the reductions in spending DOJ targeted.
$9.4 billion are set to be on the chopping block as House Majority Leader Steve Scalise has introduced legislation to match the Trump administration's rescission request. A rescission allows the White House to cut funding with a simple majority in both the House and Senate. Included are cuts to foreign aid and public broadcasting that will be voted on this week. Scalise says this will be the first step in reducing wasteful government spending, while Democrats are pushing back, arguing some of the funding provides life-saving services like combating HIV in Africa. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are rising modestly before this week's trading. In the NBA Finals, the Thunder get even.
Gilgeous Alexander inside, banks it home.
We've got a thunder avalanche here in Game 2.
The NBA Finals are all tied 1 game apiece. On ABC last night, Oklahoma City built a 23-point lead at home against Indiana and beat the Pacers 123-107. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the league's most valuable player, followed his 38-point performance from Game 1 with 34 points last night, when unlike Game 1, Oklahoma City did not let a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter slip away.
Fox's Jared Max. Hockey's Stanley Cup final rematch resumes tonight in Florida. The defending champion Panthers host the Edmonton Oilers in Game 3. The NHL final is tied 1-1. At tennis's French Open, Carlos Alcaraz was the repeat winner. He lost the first 2 sets to Jannik Sinner, and then Alcaraz rallied to win the Grand Slam tournament in a 5th-set tiebreaker.
Today was all about to believe in myself.
I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Customers are told the chips may contain a declared wheat allergen. The impacted bags include the multi-pack 6-count with a lot code of September 22nd, 2025, and the 1-ounce bag of veggie chips with a lot code of the same date. Customers who purchase these bags are being told not to eat these chips and to instead return them along with the purchase receipt for a full refund. Those who may have these products are advised to check or contact Hannaford at 800-213-9040 for more information. New York lawmakers could vote today on a bill that would legalize assisted suicide across the state. The controversial legislation, dubbed the Medical Aid in Dying Act, would allow a doctor to prescribe life-ending drugs to people with 6 months or less to live. Members of the Catholic Church and disability rights advocates oppose the bill, arguing it does not have enough safeguards in place to prevent abuse. However, State Senator Jessica Scarcella-Stanton, a Democrat, has been pushing to pass the bill, saying it's about choice and allows those who are terminally ill to choose a peaceful and dignified passing. And over 1 million air conditioners are being recalled due to the possibility of mold exposure. A notice from the Consumer Product Safety Commission says water can pool in Medea's U and U+ window air conditioners and fail to drain quickly enough, which can lead to mold growth. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that can result in health problems, including respiratory issues like coughing, stuffy nose, sore throats, wheezing, itchy eyes, and skin issues like rashes. People with asthma or mold allergies may have a more severe reaction, including fever or shortness of breath. Medea says it has received at least 152 reports of mold in air conditioners, including 17 reports of people experiencing respiratory symptoms or allergic reactions. Your WIBX News Time is 8:08. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Trying to clean out the atmosphere. Air quality alerts from yesterday have gone by the wayside as the wet weather is helping, but who knows, they may be back. There's another push of Canadian wildfire smoke. May get here mid or late week. Got to deal with some scattered showers this morning, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm, low 70s. A few showers, thunderstorms tonight, and a few showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, 77. I'm Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
And drizzling. Now let's take a look at sports.
Brought to you by the IBEW 43 local sports desk. Sovereignty is the winner of the 157th Belmont Stakes at Saratoga Racecourse in New York. The horse, ridden by jockey Junior Alvarado, also claimed victory at the Kentucky Derby earlier this year. Preakness Stakes winner Journalism took second after stumbling at the gate, and Baeza took third. Syracuse University has picked the new leader to lead its women's lacrosse program. Reggie Thorpe will be the team's fourth ever head coach, and he's replacing Kayla Triner, who departed to take the head coach position at Penn State. Thorpe is a former All-American defenseman who helped lead the SU's men's squad to a national title in '93. He calls this new role his dream job and says it's time to get to work to ensure the continued success of Syracuse women's lacrosse. The Stanley Cup final is tied as the series shifts to the Sunshine State. The defending Cup champion Panthers are looking to come off a double overtime victory to even the series at one game apiece. Florida will be looking to defend home ice when it hosts the Oilers for Game 3 on Monday. Connor McDavid is leading all players with 5 points through the first two games. The NBA Finals are now even. The Thunder blew out the Pacers 123-107 in Game 2 from Oklahoma City. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led all scorers with 34 points, while Alex Caruso sung 20 off the bench. Tyrese Halliburton led Indy with 17 points as the best of 7 series shifts to Indianapolis for Game 3 on Wednesday. The Mets swept the Rockies after cruising to a 13-5 victory in the series finale from Denver. Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil each slugged a pair of home runs. New York leads the NL East after winning 3 straight and will host the Washington Nationals for a 3-game series that begins tomorrow night. The Yankees, they dropped back-to-back games after falling to the Red Sox 11-7 in their series finale. Aaron Judge belted a couple of homers and now has 23 this season. New York still leads the AL East and will visit the Kansas City Royals for a 3-game set beginning tomorrow night. Giants rookie quarterback Jackson Dart is getting adjusted to the NFL. Dart recently admitted that having edge rusher Brian Burns chase him around the practice field has made him realize the speed of the next level. The G-Men selected Dart with the 25th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft and continues OTAs this week. The NFL offseason continues to roll on for the Jets. They're ready to start the mandatory minicamp. Players will take physicals today before the first of 3 practices, which begin tomorrow. The middle practice is limited to a walkthrough. Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen signed a brand new endorsement deal. The reigning NFL MVP is teaming up with Mars Incorporated for a limited edition of the popular Snickers candy and ice cream bars. Snickers will also offer a contest that'll include prizes such as a trip to Super Bowl 60 in California. The limited edition bars are set to show up at stores nationwide throughout the month. Ryan Fox is celebrating another victory after winning the RBC Canadian Open at TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley. Fox took down Sam Burns in a 4-hole playoff after both finished atop the leaderboard at 18 under par. This is the second win of the year for Fox after he won the Myrtle Beach Classic in a playoff. Kevin Yu finished third at 17 under. The French Open, it's come to a close. Second-seeded Carlos Alcaraz won his second straight French Open title with a 5-set victory over top-seeded Jannik Sinner in the final. Alcaraz notched his 5th career Grand Slam title in the longest French Open men's final in the Open era that lasted 5 hours and 29 minutes. In women's action, second-seeded Coco Gauff won the title with a 3-set victory over top-seeded Aryna Sabalenka on Saturday. The 21-year-old is the first American to win the French Open since Serena Williams in 2015. The win is the second Grand Slam singles title for Gauff, who won the 2023 U.S. Open. And Denny Hamlin is in the winner's circle for a 3rd time this season. The driver of the number 11 car secured a victory in the Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Speedway. Chris Buescher, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, and Kyle Larson rounded out the top 5 finishers. The NASCAR Cup Series heads south of the border for the Viva Mexico 250 next Sunday from Mexico City. Your WIBX News Time, 8:13, 61 degrees. And drizzling right now. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Coming up, we'll speak with Congressman John Mannion, who will be in studios. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, that's great.
A lot happening, and L.A. is acting just as you expected they probably would. This is beginning to get out of control. This is going to be quite a story to watch through the day today. We'll get the congressman's opinion on all of it. Coming up at WIBX.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
It's AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary, and our high-rate checking account has an unprecedented rate worth celebrating. Get started at ameriq.org/high-rate.
Have you always wanted a bed you can pick the number on each side, make it as soft or as firm as you want? Check out the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort at Mattress Express. 5 years, no interest, no money down for qualified buyers, and no credit check payment plans.
When it comes to the ones we love, their comfort and dignity matter most. That is why Hospice and Palliative Care is here for you. When you want your loved ones' wishes to be honored, when you want them to be comfortable, safe, and secure, and when you want them to be wherever they call home, Hospice and Palliative Care is the right choice. Our team of professional doctors, nurses, social workers, and bereavement counselors are dedicated to providing compassionate care every step of the way. At Hospice, your loved one is not alone, and neither are you. We are just a phone call away, ready to support you through this journey. Choose Hospice and Palliative Care, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison County for the comfort and dignity your loved ones deserve. For more information, visit our website, hospicecareinc.org, or call us today at 315-735-6484. Hospice and Palliative Care, Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison counties.
When you need us most.
Now through June 30th, get up to $120 off 4 new Bridgestone or Firestone tires instantly at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair Centers. Whether you're in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, or Herkimer, their team of professionals are ready to serve you. Schedule your appointment today online at tallmanstire.com. Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Get the best tires for your vehicle at unbeatable prices guaranteed. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hi, this is Ted Cruz. Join Ben Ferguson and me each weekend for Verdict. We take you behind the scenes for the ultimate insider show. We will bring you the latest news and commentary on everything that's going on in Washington, D.C. with the most up-to-date news and reaction. Your ultimate D.C. insider's guide. Tune in to Verdict with Ted Cruz each and every week with Ben Ferguson.
Airing Sundays at 8 a.m.
Verdict with Ted Cruz. Same time, same channel.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Couple things to keep in mind in Sarah's Flooring Outlet. Their hardwood blowout sale with savings of 50% off continues here into the month of June. If you've been looking at how beautiful hardwoods are, you can check them out at Sarah's. It is the largest inventory anywhere in the area when you're looking for any type of flooring. The largest inventory. You'll find stuff that, like my wife did, tile that you're not going to see in everybody's houses, which is having something unique is kind of nice, I think. You can get all sorts of special deals, 6-month interest-free financing, but the most inventory, the biggest selection that you'll receive out there when it comes to flooring. In Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and in sarahsflooringoutlet.com. Also, it's happening in Herkimer County. The world's largest yard sale is coming up this weekend, right, Davey? In Herkimer County.
Right, Saturday, Bill.
It'll be Saturday, and they line them up at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds. It is an enormous event. But that's just the beginning. Go to the website, herkimercountyny.gov/events. herkimercountyny.gov is the website where you will find it's everything going on. If you have an event that's coming up and you would like to have it promoted, just submit it, and they'll cover it for you. But if you're looking for things to do, because it's kind of like you're dodging raindrops, right, these days. For every day.
Like every day, especially on the weekends.
Yeah, especially on the weekends. So you can do it here at herkimercountyny.gov. It is happening. History, commerce, and beauty colliding as it happens in Herkimer County. In studio right now is Congressman John Mannion. Congressman, good morning. Thanks so much for
coming in.
Good morning,
Keeler. Thanks for having me on.
So you're in town and in studio, and
yeah.
What is the progress, if you could, on your local office? I know there's been.
Yeah, thank you. So I think I mentioned on here before, we had an office ready to go that was where Brindisi and Tenney were. And in the middle of some of those government cuts that were coming through, we had the credit line for the government agency, it was called GSA, was frozen. And it kind of took a turn as a result on that lease process. So, the contract is signed. We're ready to go. It should be very, very soon.
Okay.
And we will be in the state office building, so all of those leases are all set to go. There are a lot of logistics that go with this, dare I say. But until that happens, and it should be happening very soon, I'm hoping by the end of the month is what we're told, and very confident. I should be careful about saying any date.
Yeah.
But people can go to manion.house.gov, and many have. Sign up for my newsletter, but more importantly, if they have a constituent case or they've got a concern that they want to express, that's the easiest place to go.
All right.
And then also call our office lines if needed.
Can you put that mic down, the one right straight in front of you? Will it be a big, beautiful office or just a regular office?
It's a good question. I'm not much at adjectives. Listen, it's going to be a functioning office. I can tell you, I got great people that are working for me, and I get a feedback of the cases that happen every week and the volume of calls and emails that we take in. So again, in this highly politicized world, whether it's me, whether it's any other member of Congress, a member of the state assembly or state Senate, please be kind to these folks that do the work. They're the ones that are delivering for people and go the extra mile. My folks absolutely do that.
I want to start with the big story, and you're going to see a lot of it on television today in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Of course, to the against the wishes of the governor and the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, President Trump jumped on this, said he is the law and order president, and has activated the National Guard for the first time since civil rights movement in 1960. I believe it was 1964 is when Johnson would have sent in the National Guard there. So your thoughts on this? Obviously, we have some history where protesters are taking over city streets, taking over city buildings. I don't think that's something that should happen, the looting and all of that. What are your thoughts on all of this?
So first of all, protesting should be peaceful, always peaceful. And when I attend a public event, whether we want to call it a rally or whatever, one of the first things I always say is, number one, this is a peaceful event. People should have their voices heard and respect law enforcement in the process. I have obviously been monitoring what is happening in Los Angeles and been communicating with my colleagues who are out there. And it's, of course, very concerning. What we don't want is to incite any additional conflict. We want to minimize that conflict. And, I do have confidence that local law enforcement, as has happened over the past 60 plus years all across this country when this has happened, that they handle it. I've seen some of the images, whoever's doing that, the burning of vehicles, absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
We got to remember, everybody here, people need to go to work, people need to go to school, people need to be safe. So all of that. But when it comes to the National Guard or talk about deployment of the Marines, that doesn't happen in this country. I mean, we don't do that. So when the National Guard has been called, it's by governors that call. They can also communicate with the president. I mentioned highly politicized world. It shouldn't be about Democrats and Republicans, because those people of Los Angeles are both Democrat, Republican, independent, and people should protest. They should do it peacefully, but let's follow the process. And this is outside of the typical process.
What are you hearing from? And it's funny because this talking point has changed as time has gone on. In the beginning, it was we're going after criminals. And now it's to the point where we're going at, and no one is off limits. Right. If you're here illegally, if you've overstayed your visa, are you hearing from people, constituents, and are you hearing from farmers? Because it does affect the agriculture.
Sure.
community.
So, listen, for people who are on a temporary protected status or on a visa, that has changed. People who are here under what was a legal process have been deported or detained, and that has happened to American citizens as well. So, of course, people are very concerned. People care about due process in this country, and they're learning, I think, or re-engaging in the understanding of what people's rights are and are not. I do agree with you that message has changed. We're supposed to be going after, according to this administration, the most violent, those that have committed crimes.
The worst of the worst, is what Bondi always says.
And there's, of course, great consensus that we should do that. No one is advocating that we shouldn't be doing that. But, it's interesting. I have spoken with a number of farmers over the course of a number of years, and the employee-employer relationship there, and I think this speaks to Central New York and the Mohawk Valley, is a very good one. There's very rare instances. So individuals that are on a visa are almost always the employees that return. I have heard challenges about and concerns about like the H-2A process and other visa processes. But I have to be honest. I've asked this question and have not heard what I was expecting to hear, which is because of the threats of detainment and deportation, that there's a major problem out there. I've only heard minor instances of a problem, but we are going to be approaching harvest season here. And again, I think that is because the local farmers here do a good job of that visa process and the immigration process. They have spoken, even some of the most quote unquote conservative farmers have spoken about changes to immigration policy that make sense. But I have not heard that. And if I have heard it, I would say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the big, beautiful bill. We were talking earlier how Trump he must be sitting and snickering a bit over the fact that he has everyone from the news media to Democrats, friend and foe,
That's right.
talking about this as the big, beautiful bill. Some with some sarcasm. Your thoughts? What's going to get through? Where are we going to be when this is all done? Because part of the problem is not Democrats. Part of the problem is Republicans.
That's correct. So I will say, obviously there are certain catchphrases out there or certain marketing techniques that are very effective. And I say we, but myself, I've called it the big ugly bill. I've called it the big billionaire bill. But let's talk about the substance of it, because that's stuff that fires people up, or it really doesn't matter. People here care. They want work to be done. So there's obviously, I have concerns about it. I have concerns about cutting. I'm in the Agriculture Committee, so cuts to the Nutrition Assistance Program are very concerning. I talked to our food banks. They've already seen an impact because of some of the things related to tariffs or potential tariffs, where some of their donations have decreased. Some of those, larger grocery chains have stopped supporting. So because of the cuts to SNAP, that's concerning. Cuts to Medicaid are very concerning, not just for individuals on Medicaid, but because of our healthcare institutions that are going to see a decrease in revenue. They're still going to serve these people, and that's going to contribute. And I'm not being inflammatory. I'm just telling you what independent healthcare evaluators talk about. You're going to see an increase in premiums, and you're going to see services, we have seen already decline, and emergency room waits lengthen. So now it's over to the Senate. All of those things that I talked about are concerning to some senators, but I think the biggest thing to some of those senators is the increase to the debt that would come as a result of that. And no analysis out there says it's not going to increase. And some talk about, that we're talking about the potential of $20 trillion in debt over the course of these 10 years. So if changes happen there, then it's got to come back to the House, and we'll see what happens when that happens. But I got to mention this, there's a provision in there that's legislative that deals with holding someone in contempt, meaning like holding the executive in contempt if they violate court orders. And a change to that is a very dramatic thing that really is transformative in this country. And I'm hopeful that the Senate pulls that piece out that, again, was snuck in the middle of the night.
So explain that. Explain that provision.
Sure. So we know what has happened already, that you have people out there tweeting and echoing what the president has said and others about these rogue judges that are getting in the way of the president's agenda. The agenda has to follow the law and follow the Constitution. And when it doesn't, judges appointed by Democrats and Republicans, and sometimes by Trump, have to apply the law. So what this is saying is that if someone wants to come and bring a case to court, that they would have to preemptively bond or pay ahead the cost of basically like filing a contempt charge. If there is a contempt charge ordered, you can't come to the court unless you bring this bucket of bond money with you to say, by the way, the executive has violated the Constitution in this action. It's beyond his powers, or he's utilizing, an act that doesn't apply in this situation. So that is different. Right now, John Q. Public can say, hey, I'm bringing this to the court. I've got to pay for my own attorneys and all that, but now you would have to pay for the coverage of the other attorneys.
Don't you find that this is a slippery slope?
It's beyond a slippery slope. We're already down that slope. We're going down it.
But you would think that in the Senate they're going to look at this and realize that at some point there may be a Democrat in office who may be able to utilize those. I mean, this is going to come back to bite Republicans at some point. And I can't imagine they don't see that in the Senate.
And to be fair, there have been actions like that, the changes to the threshold of federal judges and requiring nominations. They dropped that threshold. I will say this. I'll always tell the truth. Democrats did that, and then the change happened to the Supreme Court, and that has transformed the court as a result of only needing a majority vote. And it shouldn't be that way. Like, I didn't get to office, and I don't think most people did who are from this region, get into office to go, I can't wait for my term to get back at them. And I went to Albany and faced some of that. Like, I would be in committee and a Republican would come to me and say, there's no appointments from the minority party on this. And I'd go back to my leadership and say, we should change this. Of course they should. And I would get resistance, but most of the time I would get it over the line. So if you look, we can look forward, but if you look back, it's unprecedented.
Yeah.
It's unprecedented. And that's the scary part of this, is that, the rule of law says we've all agreed that when the courts rule, we follow what the court decides, or we can appeal.
And you will hear, speaking with Congressman John Mannion, I've heard the comeback to this, that, Biden did the exact same thing, but it came to student loans, but not really.
Not really is right.
They followed the court system, and when one judge said no, they found another strategy and went another direction.
And listen,
which ultimately ended with the court saying no go.
Your listeners might get all over me, but I'm not saying this as a member of the party that shares the same party as Joe Biden, but I am saying it as a teacher because I want people to know this. Joe Biden tweeted out or posted something that said, like, I'm going to still help students. That's a priority. And he did find a provision where he did that, but he still followed the court decision. And did he provide, with his executive powers, some student loan relief? He did, but then that was taken to court and he lost. And he lost.
Yeah,
and that's why people have a suspension of what had occurred there.
But that's the way it works.
That's right.
That's the way it has always worked.
Yeah. And as a legislature, we've got a job to do, and we're not, the big beautiful bill. Damn it, I did it.
You did.
But like that, love it or hate it, that followed the legislative process, right? And they had the votes to do it. So if we want to institute tariffs around the world, okay, we can do that. It's congressionally, the authority is under Congress. Let's do it that way. He's got the numbers to do it. Go do it.
Elections have consequences. I mean, that's why there comes a certain point where Democrats have to understand if the Republicans are united, legislatively they cannot be stopped here.
That's right. And I was in a trifecta in Albany, in a majority and a supermajority in the Senate, and I got to sit in those conference rooms with all Democrats. A lot of times my position would have been more with Republican senators who represented similar areas, like
upstate.
here in upstate. And I didn't just sit there and, cede my power or keep my voice silent. I fought back, and a lot of things didn't get through or got changed for the better for our region, and then I would vote yes if we got the change.
Couple more minutes with Congressman John Mannion. Any phone calls or questions you want to get in? We have a few of those, 315-736-0186. Ann is in Rome. On with Congressman. Let him get his headphones set here.
Yep.
That work?
Yep.
It's nice that you have hair to worry about.
It's my own, too. My parents, let me tell you, they did a great job.
My parents did a great job, too, except for my scalp. Ann, you're on with the Congressman.
Good morning, Congressman. Thank you for taking my call. I just have 3 points that I'd like you to answer. Once I'm done, I'll hang up and listen to your comments. First of all, when we say people picking crops, that's a migrant worker, not an illegal alien who broke our laws, came here, rape and murder our citizens, take advantage of us financially. Second of all, the L.A. riots, they are blocking the roads. They're throwing – 3 police officers were injured last night. To me, that's obstruction of justice. These people should be put in jail. I'm just sick and tired of listening to people going on about this big, blue, beautiful deal – and if you have cancer, you're not going to get your cancer medicine. And this has been spewed by Democrats, and you can go back to The View or AOC or anybody else. And me going through cancer, I don't need somebody fear-mongering me that I have to be afraid that I'm not going to get my drugs, which, by the way, thank God, nothing has changed. So, again, thank you for taking my call, and I'll listen to your comment.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
Thank you, Ann, for the question. Yeah, I'm going to start on the Medicaid piece. That's right. This is the largest cut to Medicaid in the history of this country. Largest cut to Medicaid. Has it been implemented yet? No. Is it going to be implemented if it passes in that form? Are there Republican members of Congress, both in the House and the Senate, very concerned about that? Because upwards of their population, they have 67% of their constituents on Medicaid? Absolutely. So it's not just me or other Democrats that are saying this. There are Republicans that have voiced this concern, in fact, signed on to letters that said, this is unacceptable, we can't have this. We'll work our way backwards.
Yeah.
Those individuals that are protesting, that are engaged in violent actions or have vandalized, they should be prosecuted. Of course they should be prosecuted, 100%. And there's great consensus around this. So some of the statements that Ann made, I did not make, and I want to make that clear, about our farming community. I talked about our farmers that go through with their employees the visa process and the documentation process, and they follow that process. And that's the way that we should be done. But what has happened over the course of time is that individuals have circumvented the asylum seeker process, and that's why we need comprehensive immigration reform, and we need it from both parties. It has not occurred. And the reality is this. The reality is, doesn't matter what party I'm in. This is factual information. When you look at the construction industry, when you look at the leisure industry and hotels, when you look at the agriculture industry, the individuals that are doing a high percentage of this work, and by high percentage, I mean 20% to 50% of the work, are undocumented people. Now, they should enter this country legally, and I 100% agree with that. And individuals that are found to have violated their visa or have entered illegally, we have a system in place where that should occur, and I 100% stand for that, and will continue to, and look forward to working with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to make it work and get an immigration policy that is working, because it's failing right now.
Part of the problem is that we we as a society have tolerated this.
We have tolerated
We have allowed
it.
it to, and
It's not Ann's fault. It's not, it's partially my fault now, but because I'm in the office, right? I got to get it done. Yeah.
Can I just follow up on that? When you said people who have violated the terms of their visa or entered illegally, there's a process that we can do something with. That is deportation?
It can be, absolutely. That's right. But as
what farmers are saying is they want it fixed. They need this fixed so they can keep these workers.
They do need it fixed, and I'll give you, so back to your question, right? We have immigration courts in this country, and people are afforded due process, even if they're here illegally. That is not just, we can look at Twitter or we can do whatever and go, well, I'm not so sure. But if you look historically, that's exactly what we have done. And we have, Border Patrol and we have ICE that are there to engage individuals and go through that process. And sometimes that does involve deportation, which, again, that has happened under every president and happened significantly. The difference that we should all acknowledge is that during the previous 4 years, the past administration, that's when we had these surges of individuals crossing the border, and we were in a crisis mode. And I think there's great consensus that it should have been addressed earlier. So there is a process, and it does involve the legal system, and we should go through that process. That's what we've done historically forever.
One more follow-up. Prior to Ann's call, you talked about, I don't remember the exact language. It was healthcare programs or services you said that have already been cut. Sure. Why are they being cut now, and what are they?
They're being cut now. Let's separate Medicaid from this. I think what we've seen here in the Mohawk Valley and in central New York are challenges to our healthcare system. We've got a robust system, but as we went through the pandemic, I have good conversations with, healthcare unions, but also healthcare administrators, meaning our hospitals. We've all seen that it's harder to get an appointment. It's harder to get a general practitioner. There's longer wait times. That's because of staffing crises and reimbursement rates in Medicare and Medicaid that make it almost impossible for our hospitals to make the books work, So they've had to make,
let alone private practices.
They've had to make hard decisions. Nursing homes as well, like in-home care services, transportation, mental health services. I don't want to name the healthcare institutions, but the system is already fragile. And I think we've seen, almost everybody has seen the impact of that just with the amount of time it takes to get certain appointments or the time it takes to get a screening or see a specialist. That's because our healthcare system is strained. I'm not trying to be an alarmist. It's just the reality, and I want it better, and cutting Medicaid is going to make it worse, regardless of who you talk to.
What do you attribute that to now?
That's a number of things. It's staffing challenges, but not proper reimbursement rates for services for these hospitals. So they don't get reimbursed to the extent that we probably should have increased the numbers over time when it comes to services for people on Medicare and Medicaid. Gotcha. So as a result, their revenues are down. They're underwater, and the state or the feds have been, like we saw with the auto industry or other industries, they've had to come in and support them with emergency dollars so they can continue to provide those services.
Let alone the reality of just your normal insurance reimbursements. They're nickeling and diming every physician and every hospital and facility. It's to the point where does the patient get what the patient really needs?
Sure. And there's increased staffing costs because we have a staffing shortage. Through the pandemic, people were stretched. They may have been at retirement age, and they decided at that point they were going to go. So for hiring purposes or visiting nurses, we've had to raise salary, which of course, I support, but there's always a reaction to that action, and this is part of it.
One more for you. Mike says, how could you use the deportation judges that you've had millions upon millions of people come in over the course of the last 4 years? It'll take hundreds of years to adjudicate all of these people. I think that comes to the point where the system is not meant for 3,000 people per day being gathered up and deported, because I don't know that we can handle that and due process.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the deportation numbers under previous presidents, under Biden,
Obama was quite a...
Yes, right. Yeah. And we didn't talk about that to that extent, but these courts have always been functioning, and I understand that. We still should... It's the United States of America. There's due process, period, right? So, okay, we can acknowledge and have... Right? The president has exercised his emergency powers, and he has the right to do so. People can bring him to court to say he overstepped his bounds. The court should rule. But he has exercised his executive powers, and that has slowed those engagements at the border. We should, move on these court cases, including immigration reform. Is going to require funding for additional deportation judges and asylum judges, and we don't have those. We don't have that funding in place right now, and we should. And part of the piece of legislation, there I said it the right way, does include support for borders and an increase in our immigration system.
So you don't buy the argument that, well, if we were to give due process to all of these people, it would take 100 years.
We've been always doing. I don't have the numbers,
Yeah.
And let me go back to, I think it was Mike.
Yes,
he makes a valid argument. It's an absolutely valid argument. It absolutely is, and we should be, whatever the case is, we may have to prioritize. But this has been a problem for generations. We've got undocumented people in this country who have been, you hear stories. These folks, you hear the story at Sackett's Harbor or other stories. Like, they've been here for 30 years, and they've been a good community member. And they may have had children, and they were always here in an undocumented status, which is an illegal status. And now what are we going to do about it? I will say I'm in agreement that we should be prioritizing these due process events, and we should fund the system. And Mike is right that I don't know how long it's going to take, but we shouldn't become a different kind of country as a result of that either.
Okay. To be continued.
You got it, Keeler.
We appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congressman John Mannion, and we will do it again. Thanks
Super.
so much. Quick break, and we'll come right back here. Hold tight.
Warner Sales and Service. Building relationships, building trust. Warner Sales and Service. Warner's, where quality still counts. At Warner's.
Warner Sales and Service is looking for a service technician. If you have mechanical abilities and are interested in working on diesel engines, hydraulic systems, and engine electrical, they want to hear from you. You'll be setting up, testing, diagnosing, and repairing the complete line of Bobcat construction equipment and Hustler turf equipment. 1 year experience or training in engine mechanics is required. The right applicant needs to have strong diagnostic capabilities. If you're the right person for the job, call Warner Sales and Service at 315-336-0311, 315-336-0311, or stop in to see them just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona.
At Warner's.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually in fact true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440. And they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Now through June 30th, get up to $120 off 4 new Bridgestone or Firestone tires instantly at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair Centers. Whether you're in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, or Herkimer, their team of professionals are ready to serve you. Schedule your appointment today online at tallmanstire.com. Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Get the best tires for your vehicle at unbeatable prices guaranteed. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See store for details.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info's protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Flag Day is June 14th, and the Frigo Agency and NYCM Insurance are celebrating with a flag exchange. Show your patriotism by flying a beautiful new American flag. Bring in your old, worn-out American flag to the Frigo Agency, 136 Clinton Road, Route 12B in New Hartford on Thursday, June 12th, and Friday, June 13th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and exchange it for a brand new one. They'll handle the proper, respectful disposal of the worn flags. Don't have a flag? Just stop in. They'll give you one. While supplies last, one per household, please.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Hey, I want to tell you about a couple of very, very important things, Manaski. If you are in a home and you're fearing maybe the home dates back to the 50s, 60s, or even before, you may be fearing lead. And you should be. You know that kids should be tested for lead in their blood. In New York, blood tests are required for all children at ages 1 and 2 because lead poisoning can harm a child's brain, nervous system, speech, hearing, learning, and behavior. Check with your doctor or healthcare provider today. And you can go to leadfreemv.org for more details. If you're a homeowner or a renter, lead exposure is a serious health risk. If you are a landlord, you own a property, there is certainly a responsibility, certainly a moral responsibility, and there are programs out there that can help you get the problem solved at no cost to the landlord, at no cost to the property owner or the renter. Funding is available to help identify and address the lead program here in the area at no cost for those who qualify. Find out more at the Lead Safe Utica program. Go to leadfreemv.org, leadfreemv.org for more details. The official coffee of this radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford, and there you'll find Seattle's best. Try their iced coffee and the amazing cold brew coffee, which is so good. Everything is made fresh daily, from the donuts to the croissants and that amazing new breakfast sandwich, the egg white frittata. Check it out. The drive-thru's lightning fast. It's Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And let me do one more. Driveways. If you're in need of driveways or sidewalks, repair of old stone walls, or you need a retaining wall, a patio, if it's concrete and masonry work, there's nobody any better than Brank, B-R-A-N-C-K, Brank Construction. Call them today at 315-894-3481. They'll get the job done right and right on time. Brank Construction. In studio right now is Michael Mott. He's a songwriter, composer, lyricist, and a singer, and he has a new song coming out today. Good morning.
Hi, Bill.
So, from New Hartford.
Yes, sir.
Living in New York City and living the dream.
The dream, yes.
Yeah.
Like George Carlin says, you have to be awake to believe it.
That is true, yes. So tell us about anything. Obviously, you have a new song coming out. So.
I do. It actually came out on Friday. And thank you so much for always giving me a platform here. I really appreciate it.
Well, we love seeing your successes and the things that, yeah.
It's amazing, and I'm very grateful. I grew up here in New Hartford, and I've been in New York now. It'll be 19 years this November.
Wow.
And I mainly write Broadway musicals, and that's like the end goal. I have a couple of shows going into production soon. But writing a lot of pop music and releasing albums and making records is a passion of mine because musicals take a very long time. Sometimes like from concept to stage to production is 7 years. That's the average length. So it's a long time. And, you can make a pop record in a couple months and put it out. So I appreciate being able to do that. And then I've been getting songs placed on different Netflix shows. So that's kind of my new strategy.
That's another area where you can really succeed.
Yeah,
right?
It's great. It's a whole. It was never the goal, but it started opening doors for me that I didn't know existed, and it's been an amazing, lucrative, incredible way to get more people to hear my music. So I've been recording and writing a lot of new material, and I'm slowly starting to release it. And this is
what was the last one that was on? Was it a game show it was on? Or?
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind, right? Yes. And that song was.
Is a song I wrote called Lost in Love.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then I had another song on Temptation Island recently. And
That's
then
pretty cool.
Another one coming out in a couple months, actually.
Do you make royalties off that?
Yeah.
Decent, and it pays the bills?
I mean, in music, everything is backdated.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I haven't received the money yet, but hopefully soon.
It's coming. Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, maybe by Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us what you have coming out today.
Brand new song called Undercover. I observed in a friend group 2 friends that were in a situationship, and I saw one maybe liking the other a little bit more, and I thought I'd write it from the perspective of that friend. So it's called Undercover.
All right, let's play.
Are we going to play this?
I'm going to play a little piece here. Here we go. I have the preview that's playing.
Okay,
so
on iTunes.
Is that that's you
I'm
singing?
singing, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you'll have other people sing your
I do,
music.
but I started doing concerts, and a lot of the audience was like, "Why are you letting all these other people sing?
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
to do a couple songs."
Right.
But I try to use people that are a little bit more famous than me.
Well, it is interesting though. I mean, there are many people who got their start by having other people sing their Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, Carole
Billy
King,
Joel, actually.
Billy Joel.
That was his goal.
They started by having other people do their songs.
Right.
And then they took off.
So is this earmarked for a show already?
It's not right now.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But I'm very fortunate to have a nice little fan base that follows me, and it's mostly the theater people. But I love being able to continuously put out new music in various genres and styles. I write jazz, dance, pop, theater.
Sure.
All over the place. So,
okay, so the song is called Undercover. Is it a part of an album or?
I think it will be. Yeah,
it will be. Right now,
it will be.
it's the release today.
I have about 8 songs done so far. But
and where can people find it? Obviously,
it's on every streaming platform, but iTunes is always the best.
Yeah,
you know. Or you can go to michaelmott.net, or my Instagram is Michael_Mott.
How do you make money like on an iTunes? So for instance, with Apple Music. You pay one price per month, and you just stream everything. How does the artist make very little money?
No, you make basically you can't make money off streaming anymore.
Yeah.
You need 1 million streams. You need 1,500 streams to make 1 penny.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It's really bad. Yeah, so that's why you do live concerts. People sell merch. It's not really about. Unfortunately, music is not a place to make money.
Well,
anymore.
and right now the music world is in a bit of a funk trying to figure out how do the executives make? How does everybody make money?
Well, I think the executives have figured out how to make.
They figured out how to make money.
Yeah, that's true.
But the positive side of this is that the artist is in control, and you can own your own material.
Yeah.
And if you get a song placed on a TV show or a movie, that can be very lucrative.
And a lot of times.
Allegedly. Yeah, I'll let you know by Christmas if it's true.
Well, a lot of times you don't need. I mean, you no longer need the record company, and you're skipping all of those royalties.
But I will say that it
profit.
is very hard as a one-man show to do everything.
Yeah,
you do need the help.
Yeah, because record companies are still promoting that music,
Absolutely,
and however they do that, although it's changed a lot today.
Absolutely.
So, all right, Michael Mott, the song is Undercover. And you're home for a few days?
I'm hopping a train in about an hour.
You are,
so
all right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You take the train from Rensselaer, or you take it from Utica?
No, I take it from here.
Yeah.
I take it from here.
I
get a
tried
bunch
to
of
the
work
other day,
done.
but they didn't have. We just scheduled a trip, but they didn't have any business class open. And I'm not a prude here, but having some kid runny nose jumping all over you versus sitting there quietly with your laptop. I like the business class. Works really well.
Listen, I agree with you.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. All right, Michael, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for always giving me a platform.
Davey, I have some lives. How do you want me to do that?
Davy's going to be upset. You went too long.
I can make up for tomorrow if you want or whatever you want. I'll do what you want. River Hills Properties. Oh, you said go? Oh, go. Okay. River Hills Properties, fastest growing real estate company in Central New York, continuing to be the fastest as they expand to the south. They have offices in Barneveld, Little Falls, Utica, Newport, and to the north in Copenhagen. Thank you, Michael. And now the amazing Gulf Coast of Florida, Sarasota, Florida. It's River Hills Properties. Whether you're looking to maybe downsize here, add a little something down there for the winter months, River Hills has you covered. Call them today at 315-896-1009. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. Manaski, thank you. We appreciate it. Mark Butler is guest hosting tomorrow morning.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Will there be more protests and clashes with law enforcement today? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. There have been 3 days of it so far in Los Angeles, angry over illegal immigration raids.
Protests need to be peaceful, period.
That's Mayor Karen Bass, but they weren't peaceful yesterday when things escalated with a lot of demonstrators in masks.
We saw the American flag burned. We saw Waymo, which are the robo-taxis, the self-driving taxis that are a common sight on the streets of LA, set on fire, at least 3 of them, very close to the 101 freeway, which was completely shut down in both directions for a time because of those thousands of protesters. They were met with smoke grenades, tear gas, and some rubber bullet rounds fired by law enforcement.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in downtown LA, which is declared an unlawful assembly area. President Trump has Marines on standby to join the National Guard troops he deployed to LA.
Well, we're going to